around the world on Facebook and YouTube.com/KartChaser. My name's Xander Clemens, alongside me, Caleb Smock, ready to bring you the action from Championship Sunday. It's time to crown Grand National Champions here live at GoPro Motorplex, beginning with pre-finals here to set the main event grid. What an awesome event it has been so far. It is a packed house once again here in Mooresville, North Carolina, and we are just about to get underway with our first pre-final here of the morning. It'll set all the lineups based off of both the pre-final results and how the drivers have competed through their 3 heat races, weighted at 50% each. So if you were 4th in your heats, that gives you 4 points. And then if you're 2nd in your pre-final, that's 2. Adds up to 6 points to put you on the point scale for the main event grid. All in all, trying to get the best overall performing drivers onto the front row of the main events today. And let's take it down trackside here as the micros have made their way onto the circuit here for the pre-final. Parker Ives and Royce Vega getting set to lead your field to the green. Caleb, 3 long days of action here. Practice on Thursday. We're back on the standard national layout, ready for more.
Yeah, they haven't been on this layout since Friday afternoon, so now it's not really much of a learning curve. It's back to the normal. Maybe the track has changed just a little bit due to some rubber being laid down from also the shoot down the alternate layout yesterday. We're about to get underway here with the pre-final for the Micro Swift. First group to go out.
So as they round the final corner, they'll head down the front straightaway, and we'll get set for a little bit longer than standard. 16 laps for the Micros, up to 18 laps for the X30 Juniors and Senior Pros. Here we are in the tram lines, looking for the green flag for the Micro Swifts to kick off our morning. And we are a little bit too quick there down to get the green flag, so it gives us time to go through the rest of your starting lineup here for the Micro class. Again, Royce Vega, what an awesome day he had throughout the weekend, really, and ending off with another heat win yesterday. So that's put him on the point to lead the field to the green here in today's pre-final. Parker Ives on the number 48 Nitro Kart will start to his outside on row number 1. Ashton Woon makes it a Nitro Kart 2-3 in the number 89. He starts on the inside of row 2 alongside him. The Parallel ACI Mexico entry of Alexander Procuna. Row 3 will be Nicholas Orbezo in the Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart Heat 1 winner. Then a couple top 10 finishes in the 2nd and 3rd heats put him on the inside of row 3. To his outside, Bowen Green in the number 4 Comp Kart for Team Timmy Tech has been solid all week with a lot of good pace, but hasn't been able to put together a top 3 showing. He's got an opportunity to do that here in this pre-final with a little bit longer session and a starting position inside the first couple rows. Row 4 will be Luke Giglio, who's had the fastest lap time in nearly every single heat race, having to come back from a not-so-great qualifying effort. He rolls off 7th on the inside of row 8 on the aboard the Alonso Kart for Team Motaz Sport. To his outside, Marco Salmon in the Brandon Jarsicuk Racing, Mike Doty Racing, Lando Norris Kart, number 57. Row 5 to round your top 10 will be Holden Myers in the number 36 Comp Kart as well. And to his outside, it will be, rounding off the top 10, Colton Schneegenberg in the number 17 GWR Red Speed. So the micro field will file into the tram lines once again. Let's see if we can go for start attempt number 2. High above on the drone cam. Looks good inside the lanes for everybody. We look to our head flagman for the green flag, and we will get it. Green flag in the air. We're underway down to turn number 1, and a great jump for Royce Vega. He'll get out by 2 or 3 car lengths over Parker Ives and company as the field gets single file down by turn 3.
Yeah, now the draft is back into effect. Yesterday with the shorter layout wasn't much of a big deal, but now they're going to have a fantastic toe. Coming into turn 4 is a little loose. There goes Royce Vega on the outside. Got a little loose heading into the corner. He's going to keep it back under control, but that is now going to allow Parker Ives to close up. Now about 2 car lengths behind him as they make the way back in the double left-handers again.
You'll notice here today that they've removed the barriers over at turn number 6. They left them off for morning warm-up as well. We saw the multiple times through the weekend in qualifying and in practice. One driver makes a mistake and pile drives the plastic barriers, and it just really throws a wrench into the rest of the race. The on-track officiating crew having to spend a lot of time resetting those course limits, cones and barriers, and ultimately they decided today, you know what, drivers, you want to keep going there, knocking them all up, bending your stuff. We'll give you that option here on Championship Sunday, which is cool from a spectator standpoint. It changes the racetrack a little bit here as the first lap's complete. Vega leads over Ives and company down to turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks like Ives is pulling with him. Ashton Woon in the 3rd spot now. Beautiful overshot footage. There they are coming out of turn 3. Ives really closing up into Vega. Has a peek down to the inside. Takes the spot away. That's going to allow Ashton Woon to close up now to the back bumper of Vega. And just off there in the distance of P4, Alexander Procuna also closing in to make it a 4-car battle. The same 4 we've seen almost all weekend long.
About a 5 or 7 car gap back from Alexander Procuna in the 4th spot to find Nicholas Orbezo there in 5th. He's got Bowen Green bearing down on him along with more. Marco Samet runs in the next group as well. They're trying to latch on to the leaders. Depending how much they pass early on, that could make the difference of whether or not that second group can run up to them. But Parker Ives, good lap here on lap number 2, and he'll come around the final turn to lead them down the front straightaway as Ashton Woon takes a little look narrower on Royce Vega. Vega now going to answer back for the lead. He'll go back to the inside in turn number 1 and put Royce Vega's number 33, Bennick, back out in front.
Yeah, this back and forth that we're seeing has allowed your 4th placement of Alexander Procuna up in the mix, but not quite close enough to try to force an issue as they make their way to turn 4. Ashton Woon looking on the inside of Parker Ives, can't quite get it done, tucks back in the line. And as I said before, the passing back and forth has allowed Procuna to close back up. They continue this on here for the next 13 and a half laps. You're going to see that second group being led by Nicholas Orbezo may make it about an 8-car length battle.
So Vega, Ives, Woon, Procuna. Last time by for Nico Orbezo, he was about a half second off the leaders, so he needs a lot of fighting up front. This will help. Ashton Woon getting on the inside for second. Here comes Procuna looking for third as well, and Parker Ives with a problem. Parker Ives, hand in the air, and the number 48 goes into the pit lane. Parker Ives from the front row of the pre-final will now have a terrible result to match for it, and the disappointment is obvious there in the Ives camp. So Parker Ives luckily has good heat results and a good qualifying to fall back on. It'll still put him, though, unfortunately, about mid-grid for the main event when the points get tallied, and that's spread out the top 3. It's a good opportunity for that second group if they can line up and run them down, but they're battling a little bit behind as they go through turns 5 and 6. You can see Orbezo's gotten a little bit closer. Bowen Green still following. Giglio still following into turn 8. They're into frame as you see Vega go through. Here's Giglio on Bowen Green. Makes the pass, gets on by. Luke Giglio into what is now the 5th position.
Top 3 getting themselves spaced out. About 2 car lengths separates them as they make their way into the final couple of corners now. Still Royce Vega out in front, went purple last lap, so he is the fastest car on track. That second group is edging up ever so slightly towards the top. What's going to be working in their favor is the 3 leading out in front are no longer going to be going back and forth here since they're not close enough to do it. So they're going to have to drive it up on sheer pace and a little bit of drafting help if they can do it. They're going to have to settle in if they want to have a competition to get up to the front.
Here we go down the backstretch. Luke Giglio's got now Bowen Green going back on him. Big run down the inside, turn 4. He'll take that spot back. Giglio on the outside will keep it down to 1 spot of damage. And so move Bowen Green back into the top 5 as Nico Orbezo's gotten away a little bit in front of them. Up front, Royce Vega is going to have a challenge coming to his doorstep here. Ashton Woon, little bumper, moves him up the racetrack. They go side by side out of turn number 8 over to turn number 9 here. Crossover move from Woon, not enough to get there, and that'll stack them up again as Procuna closes up for 3rd.
So now these 3 are going to be in the toe of each other, making the way up the hill now. Going to burn 1 more lap, 11 to go at the stripe. Now let's see if anyone tries to make a quick little lookout here on the inside. Looks like Procuna may have had a run. Woon is now the closest one to the back bumper of Vega. As you can see, another beautiful overhead shot. And now Procuna may be in the position to force the issue on Woon here as they make their way out of 3, heading into 4. They're all tucked into a line. Woon thought about it, continues to stay on the back bumper of Vega. Meanwhile, that second pack slowly starting to trail back off with these 3 in the toe of each other.
So through turn 4, turn number 5, Royce Vega leading them through the infield section again. You can see they're still fighting amongst themselves in that second group for position. Had they lined up, they might have been able to make up more ground, but they're going to continue to pass. Marco Samet down the inside on Bowen Green just at the end of the frame there, and Procuna still riding at the end of the lead group here, not really making a whole lot of noise, but in contention as Nico Orbezo for a minute and was looking like he was going to run down the leaders. I don't think he's gained as much time this time, though. Gained 3/10 last time by. Now 6 down, 10 to go. Where do the lap times stack up? Vega a 54.7, Orbezo 54.8. Needs some help. Not going to get it. Ashton Woon continues to push away, and we got problems on the backside. That is the number 4 of Bowen Green with a mechanical problem over out of turn number 9. Another race-winning contender is out with an issue here along with Parker Ives, and he'll drop all the way to the tail end in 17th.
Yeah, so that's going to allow that second group. It's unfortunate to see that he is going to be out of it here, Bowen Green that is, but as there's another look on the inside there, I think that was from Marco Samet on Luke Giglio as they make their way up the hill now. So if they continue to go back and forth like this, again, you're going to see that gap start to grow. Last time by, they grew up by a 10th. if they continue to maybe go back and forth, maybe side by side through a few corners, while these top three are staying up nose to tail, you're going to see that gap increase even more so this time across the stripe. Looking at the times, Royce Vega goes purple, 54.57. Marco Samet, though, he went a 54.53, so they're slowly starting to make their way there, but that right there in turn two is not going to help them.
No, not at all. Marco Samet trying to go by Luke Giglio right as they got into the toe of Nico Orbezo. Ultimately couldn't get the pass done, won't be able to do it in turn four either. So we stay locked in up front, single file, Vega and Woon pushing away. Here's your second group, Giglio and Samet. They've hunted down Nicholas Orbezo. Giglio should be close enough for a dive. Turn 8, pulls out, looks inside. Clear. Luke Giglio up into fourth.
So now let's see maybe if these three in this combination can possibly work together to push themselves up towards the front group. You can see the leaders at the top of your screen as we switch back over. It almost looks like Ashton Woon and Royce Vega, those two together have been a great combination, opening up just a little bit of a gap from Alexander Procunha. Procunha's got to be careful. He is slowly getting out of drafting range. And once that happens, he's going to fall back to give a little bit of a tow from Giglio and company, along with Orbezo and Samet. So if he continues to fall back, this is going to be good news there for that second group.
Again, another look in turn one, unsuccessfully for Marco Samet. Let's see what he does down the back straightaway. He'll stay in line behind Orbezo and push Giglio on through. You can see, again, falling into no man's land is Alexander Procunha, as mentioned last time by. Vega and Woon, 54.5s apiece. Then at the same time, a 54.8 for Procunha. Luke Giglio, a 54.9 with a pass in turn 8. Big question will be what kind of lap times he can put together this time by here. 7 laps to go at the stripe. Look at this move by Marco Samet, nearly down the inside in turn 9. Couldn't fully get it done on Orbezo. He wants to get around him, wants to get back to pushing Luke Giglio forward. Can't quite do it. 7 laps remaining here in the 16-lap pre-final.
And now we're going to watch the top two here make their way through turn 1 of Vega and Woon. Last time by, Vega goes purple yet again, so he's not going to inherit the fast time. He won a 54.5 from the second group of Giglio on was a 54.7, so 2/10 better for your top two. It looks like Woon had a little look there on the inside heading into 4. These two have ran well together almost all season long on the national circuits. So now as we see themselves here at the Grand Nationals, they're probably going to do the same here in the pre-final, try to get that little bit of separation that they need before they start battling in the final couple of laps.
Yeah, I think you'll see them stay single file probably until at least 2 to go, if not the white flag. We saw Orbezo make a move there coming out of turn 4 on Luke Giglio, getting the job done. So Nico Orbezo back into 4th. I think they've kind of realized that's all they're really going to be able to fight for. Procunha is just hanging on even by himself. Alexander Procunha was 2/10 better than Giglio the previous lap around. 6 to go, 10 down. Royce Vega has led the most laps so far as he goes up the hill of turn 3, and Alexander Procunha finding some new life, closing back into the top 2 drivers. After falling back a little bit, he just set his personal best lap and the best lap of the session, a 54.394 for Alexander Procunha. Picks up 3/10 on the leaders.
Yeah, the more he tries to work his way up there, he's going to have the draft come to effect. There's a little switch back there. That was, I think it was
Giglio going by Orbezo, and Orbezo back on by him right into turn 5. So Orbezo hanging on to 4th.
Yeah, so now they make their way through the single file. And as I was saying about Procunha, as soon as he gets up to about that 4 or 5 car length advantage is when the toe starts to really come into effect. You can see there he's trailing by 3, so he might slowly start to edge his way back up. And the question is going to be, is he going to go to the back bumper and try to push the top 2, or is he going to try to force the issue? If he does that, that's going to be good news for Orbezo and company in that second group right behind.
So through now 5 laps to go here in the pre-final. Up the hill for Royce Vega and Ashton Woon. Alexander Procunha is still going to be able to play spoiler. He'll make it 3 to battle for the lead and the win, as Vega has been having some really good laps recently. Ashton Woon not able to hold touch with the rear bumper as they go through turn number 5 well.
Yeah, so now they're going to spread back out. It looks like also Procunha got a little loose there heading into 4. He's going to open up that gap just a little bit more between himself and Ashton Woon running the second spot. 4 laps to go this time by as Woon closes back up to Vega. I think Procunha may have to just sit and wait for the blocking to start here in the next 3 or 4 laps between both Vega and Woon as they make their way to burn one more lap, 4 to go at the line.
Yeah, 4 laps remaining for Royce Vega and company down the front stretch here this time. They've put in 12 solid ones so far. The gap back to Orbezo over 3 seconds. And a big push there from Ashton Woon opens the margin back up, back to Alexander Procunha. Keeps it a little bit bigger once again as they rocket down the back straightaway.
So it's going to be 3.5 laps to go. Procuna starting to trail off just a little bit more. We continue to watch Woon and Vega. Been the two in the front almost all race long. Woon has been very content staying behind Vega, trying to just push him as much as he can, get that separation you need. Making their way through the turns 6 and 7 right now, heading in the hairpin of turn 8. I don't think Woon's going to try to force the issue until he sees about 2 laps to go.
Out of turn 8 here, Royce Vega still the leader. Over to turn number 9, Ashton Woon probably going to ride, like we said, till about 2 to go here. Do what he can to open that gap back up to Procuna. It's opening up again like it did earlier on in the session. 3 to go at the line. No one going to take a look back just yet as they cross the stripe. Ashton Woon, car length away, wasn't able to get hooked up to the bumper of Royce Vega that time, so he stays back with him. And now he'll close the gap down the backstretch. Big run coming for Ashton Woon. What does he do with it? He'll stay right there.
So out of the bull they come, and then Procuna, like we said, has fallen off just a little bit. That last time by, it looked like he was running almost identical times to Woon, about a 10th off of Royce Vega, the leader out in front. But he's got to be patient here. He knows that there's going to be blocking. He knows that Ashton Woon may try something at least once, and that will be enough, as it looked like Woon got in the back bumper of Vega heading into 8, and that little bobble right there, he needs a couple more of those as he's going to start to close the gap back up. This time by is going to be 2 laps to go. Look for possible Vega as, oh, we got a Kart up on its side.
Oh, big flip here on the back straightaway. That's coming out of turn 4 near the back of the field, and that could potentially change things here. Not sure what that was. The driver luckily got clear of it. He's okay. The officials are going to go check him out. We stay green for now. 2 to go up the hill, and this could be sudden death racing if they want to call it a lap early. They're going to check the driver out with the on-track medical team and make sure he is all right as they head down to turn number 4.
Yeah, so into 4 they go, and I think that's also where the yellow is going to happen. So no one can pass going into or coming out of turn 4. But as soon as they're back in a normal racing line, that's when they can start it all over again of the racing. But it looks like Procuna was not able to close up. There goes your leader of Vega on the defensive. Ashton Woon takes the outside line. And let's see if Procuna is able to close back up. Through turn 8 they go, still door-to-door coming up the hill. And again, yellow flags are going to be out here shortly. They got to get themselves worked out.
Ashton Woon able to get himself cleared off there for Royce Vega. Now he's going to start low-lining it. So great move by Ashton Woon. Close the door. Vega goes high in the last turn. He'll get the run down the front stretch. Woon knows it, goes low. Vega gets clear around the outside. Here comes Procuna back to the inside. For second, move Procuna up, and Vega's got the lead.
So it's now working the last lap. It was a beautiful move there by Ashton Woon, who goes to the back bumper there of Procuna. He held him all the way down the inside line. Vega now working the middle of the track, moves back up to get a better arc going into 4. They're slowly making the way back up. Woon's got to be patient now. This is your last lap, but you got to be right there at the end, maybe helping Procuna to get up there in the final 2 left-handers.
So he'll push him through turn 6. Procuna is not going to be close enough in turn 8, so Woon's going to pass him here. He'll go down the inside. Procuna lets him go, gives Woon one final shot at it. He needs a really, really good turn number 9 to apply the pressure. Out at 9, Royce Vega leads. Here comes Ashton Woon. Vega knows that he goes low. He's going to stay low in the last turn. Woon goes way high. Crossover move coming. Ashton Woon trying to get the run. Down to the line, side by side across the line. Woon got it. Woon gets him by 0.03 of a second. Vega went low to try and cover off the crossover, and in the process hurt his momentum. And Ashton Woon learns from Vega passing him on the white flag around the outside. Passes for the win around the outside himself. Ashton Woon, your pre-final winner in micro. Royce Vega second. Alexander Procuna third. Marco Samet ends in 4th, getting by both Orbezo and Giglio late. And they almost caught back up to the leaders there late. Marco Samet at his best lap of the race, a 54.43, 400ths off of the overall best. Orbezo rounds the top 5. Giglio 6th, Myers 7th, Wolf 8th, Schneekenberg 9th. I think that might have been either Daniel Ramirez or Enzo De Janeiro that was the driver that flipped up and over in turn number 4. We'll give you an update when we can. It looked like the driver again was up and okay, but we're going to go to commercial break, give the officials and the on-track medical team time to check out that quick flip over at turn 4. When we come back, more action to go as the KA100 Juniors are getting set to be led off by Elio Meza in the Cooper Shipman in the 814 Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart. He gets set to go. Spencer Conrad will join him on the outside of row number 1. We'll be right back. Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
The 2023 season is just around the corner, and if you're looking to buy, sell, connect, or learn, make plans to attend the 37th Annual OVK Go-Kart Swap Meet, February 4th, 2023. Register online at ovka.com.
Hannah Greenemeyer is going to score the final win of the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Hayden Jones is a national race winner. Nate Cicero wins.
Four-time champion Ryan Norberg winning Super Nationals 24.
Winner, winner, winner.
Are you ready to join one of North America's winningest driver development programs? Rollison Performance Group offers fully customizable packages that are meant to take your game to the next level. For more information, head to rollisonperformancegroup.com.
Welcome back here to the USA National Championship. It is Sunday, which means it is pre-final time as we're about to get underway here with our KA100 Junior class. 17 laps will be the distance here this afternoon for their pre-final. Your front row of Cooper Shipman and Spencer Conrad are going to lead the field to the green this time, or when they take it the next time by. Row number 2 will be led up by Eli Warren and Caleb Gerfera in the 4th position. In row number 3, it is going to be Ernesto Rivera starting next to Alex Marcato in the 6th position. Anthony Rivera is set to start in the 7th spot next to Caleb Brinkman. Oliver Piatek will start 9th next to Max Garcia. That is your top 10. Here's a beautiful shot here of the backstretch coming out of 3, heading into the bowl of turn number 4. It is a gorgeous fall afternoon day here in Mooresville at the GoPro Motorplex as they're going to make their way around for their first flying lap. Again, pre-final does not exactly dictate where you start in the feature. It's a 50-50. So it's the 50% of what happened in the first 3 heat races combined with 50% of how you finish in this pre-final will set the field for the feature to go this afternoon. There is your top 2 of Shipman and Conrad, letting them around for the first time to get 1 lap with the tires up to temp. They're going to slow them back down about halfway through to get them lined up for the green.
Cooper Shipman with an awesome run so far here this week. Had to come from the back of the field in both of his heat races and was able to drive forward. He's got himself on the inside of row number 1. Spencer Conrad going to start to the outside of the front row in the number 77 Team Nitro Kart O2 day. Then row 2, full man from qualifying, Eli Warren at the Jimmy Simpson Racing Red Speed roll off in 3rd. Caleb Gerfera, a heat win and a couple 6, has him rolling off on the outside of row number 2 as he looks to try and pull the double off on home turf for him. The North Carolina native starts pole in X30 Pro Junior later on today, starts 4th again here in KA Junior. Row number 3 will be Ernesto Rivera, his teammate in the RPG Cosmic, has looked really, really solid all week. To his outside, Alex Mercado in the Speed Concepts Racing Red Speed. Go back from there, you'll find Anthony Rivera aboard the 821 Kart Republic for Team Ferris Racing. To his outside, Cameron Brinkman on the BJR MDR Lando Norris Kart. Oliver Piatek and Max Garcia round off the top 10. It's a pack race typically for these KA Juniors. You got nearly 40 of them coming into the tram lines here looking for the green flag down the front straightaway to turn number 1. It's all nice and pretty. And so our race directors will get out of the way. Let's see it. Green flag in the air. We've got it. Green flag down to turn number 1. We're racing, and Cooper Shipman gets away with the lead. Good start for Spencer Conrad. One way off the grass there in the middle of the field. Not sure who that was, but they got shuffled way wide. I think that might have been Oliver Piatek. He's 3 wide on the outside down to turn 4.
Yeah, they are 3 by 3, 3 deep heading into the bull now. They got to get themselves sorted out. There's still 3 wide there in the back. Somehow they make it through all cleanly. A little bit of shuffling back and forth, but relatively so. They're going to go single file there in that mid-pack. It looks like there's still a little bit of separation, but there's a good shot of your leaders making the way into turn 8 hairpin this first time. And there's the rest of the field still trying to get themselves sorted out.
So Cooper Shipman having a heck of a week here in North Carolina, leads them. Spencer Conrad 2nd, Gerfera and Rivera 3rd and 4th, Warren back to 5th. And then there goes for the lead, Spencer Conrad, home turf, looking for the lead. He'll get it at the end of the first lap here. He leads them into 1. Shipman going to answer back. Gerfera trying to go hip check to Spencer Conrad. Conrad hangs on to 2nd.
Yeah, so the top 4 now trying to get themselves worked in. Gerfera saw the opportunity, decided to sit just a little bit, but that's going to allow both Anthony Rivera and Eli Warren in 6th and 5th respectively to slowly close up to the field, and there they have done so. It is now a 7-pack out in front, a little bit of separation there from the top 3, and then 4th on back, but they're going to continue to close back up. Again, unlike yesterday, draft is a huge advantage here and also a huge part of the factor of racing. As we look out, it looks like Conrad under attack as Shipman goes by on the inside. Gerfera tries to follow him up the hill.
Gerfera now on the outside of Shipman here. He'll slot in line to 3rd. Rivera cuts him a break. And so a great start for Anthony Rivera. No relation into 5th on the bumper as Gerfera goes to 2nd. Ernesto Rivera blocks for B4. It's Rivera versus Rivera down the front stretch. Ernesto Rivera is going to drive him down to the inside and has to give way eventually as Eli Warren follows through as well. Ernesto Rivera back to 6th. Warren into the top 5 and the top 3. Little gap. Spencer Conrad leads. Gerfera follows, looks low, for the lead. Caleb Gaffera, here comes Cooper Shipman. Over, under on both of them, and he gets the lead.
That was a beautiful veteran move right there, doing a 2-for-1 when he'd go a little bit high there on entry, take it all the way down to the inside line on the exits. That's going to bunch him up yet again. And as you said, Eli Warren makes his way back up, and they all go to the inside to defend. Here comes Gaffera all the way down almost into the grass, takes over the point. Oh,
big contact. Max Garcia on the top of Cameron Brinkman. They'll both get going way down the order. Brinkman gets hurt the most out of it. A big stack up there. Cameron Brinkman slowly moving into turn number 9, and he's going to get back under power, but Cameron Brinkman with an issue. Unfortunately, heavy damage there to the BJR MDR Lando Norris Kart. Garcia falls back outside the top 15 as well, and now it's all shaken up front as Caleb Gaffera leads over Spencer Conrad.
Eli Warren also got shuffled back.
Cooper Shipman into second. My bad. Conrad way back. You're right. Eli Warren back as well. Gaffera leads them.
Yeah, so Gaffera's got the point coming up the hill. Shipman in P2 and Rivera also up in the mix as well, as there's a good overhead shot as we're going to switch back over to that second pack. Beautiful drone footage here coming into that double left before coming to the final hairpin of turn 8. Let's see if they decide to block this lap. It looks like maybe Shipman had a look there on the inside of Gaffera. Gaffera still holds point.
Cooper Shipman is now outnumbered, and he knows that he's trying to hang on to P2 from Ernesto Rivera and maybe bring the pack back up as well as they go up the hill to the final turn. Rivera down the inside gets the move done, and now it's an RPG 1-2. Caleb Gaffera leads, Ernesto Rivera second. Side by side for fourth behind him. Anthony Rivera loses that spot. Spencer Conrad back up higher in the top 5. He goes to fourth.
Yeah, the only one up here that's going to be playing favoritism to the ones in the back is going to be your third place into Cooper Shipman. He may be trying to break up the two RPG Cosmics of Caleb Gaffera and Ernesto Rivera, who are 1 and 2. They aren't nose to tail. There is a little bit of separation. Again, there's a good shot of the rest of the field. As we look back, it looks like maybe some back in the mid-pack, but here's a good shot of the top 3. Does Shipman send it here? He decides to follow. That second pack being led by Anthony Rivera, Spencer Conrad, and Warren and company, slowly edging their way back up to the top 3.
Caleb Gaffera trying to put some solid laps together. Talked to him this morning. He said, I know I can pull away an X30 Pro Junior, the KA class. It's always a pack race. It's mini Swift engines strapped on full-size go-karts. They're doing everything they can to try and get away for the number 704 or 804 machine, but Caleb Gaffera, unfortunately, he's going to have the pack bearing back down on him, and now that they battle for second, Spencer Conrad is back on the way. He's got help from Anthony Rivera. They're reeling in the leaders down to turn 4. Shipman not close enough to dive bomb Ernesto Rivera back for P2, but he's looked on him a couple of times into turn number 5. 5 together. Here comes Eli Warren back into the mix. He's got another one on his bumper. That is Valentino Garbarino in the Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart. Look at this, Spencer Conrad trying to get third from Cooper Shipman. Shipman's wide. They're side by side.
Yeah, this is not what you need to be doing if you're in the third on back. The two teammates out in front. It is harder to pull away, as you were saying before, Xander, in this KA100 Junior package. But if there is just enough of a gap to where you can't get into the toe and that second pack starts to battle back and forth, you'll see the top 2 start to drive away like you're seeing right now. So right now, if you're Shipman and Conrad, you got to put your differences aside to keep the pressure on. Big pass there on the inside on Anthony Rivera, falling back a couple positions.
Good pass by Valentino Garbarino. Hard for Anthony Rivera. He tried to fight it. He loses 5 spots in the process. So Valentino Garbarino now by himself in 5th. Spencer Conrad and Cooper Shipman, they're hooked up 3rd and 4th. Hunting back down the leaders. There's Garbarino. He's got Eli Warren back behind him. And then up into 7th. Good run forward for Chris Aitken in the Speed Concepts Racing Red Speed. He's up 7 positions. Cash Perkins up 11 in the Franklin Motorsports Merlin into the 8th spot.
So now they make their way up towards the final couple corners yet again. It's going to be 10 to go this time by. Still a decent amount of time left as down the inside to defend there was Cooper Shipman, and it looks like he's still going to try to hold line against Spencer Conrad as they make their way down to the line. Again, those two, you could see Shipman there giving a little bit of a hand gesture to Conrad, saying we got to go forward here if we want to catch back up, as they're starting to do so just a little bit.
So that was Conrad motioning to Shipman there. He was able to get the move done in turn 11. Spencer Conrad now trying to close up Shipman, trying to push him. Conrad got a little out of shape with how big of a shove it was, but they lost some ground to the leaders with the pass, about 1/10 of a second, so they got to get going. Ernesto Rivera is going to think, all right, I got my teammate in front of me. I can push with Caleb Gaffera and break away, and they're on the cusp of it out of turn number 8 here. Here's a battle further back. Look at this. One driver way wide there in the white helmet. I believe that might have been maybe Diego Guillo going wide. Cash Perkins or Chris Aiken. I think that was Aiken going wide. Perkins going by. And now side by side, more contact in this midfield there. Big shove. Guillo goes wide. Rivera and Devin Roberts all in wide. They're 2 and 3 wide down to turn 1.
Yeah, let's see if they can get themselves sorted out again. Turn 2 is a little tight with the barriers. They somehow make it through a single file, making their way out of turn 3. There's the gap between the top 2 and that second pack, as there's a big pass on the inside there, just off camera attempt, I should say. As we go back to the drone footage, making their way out of turn 4, everyone's still going back and forth, but it's still Grafera and Rivera enjoying the battling from behind as they continue to try to work together, pull away. That last time by, they were almost at about a second gap, about 0.73 is the difference.
Everyone just looking for a better starting spot here for the main show today. They can just get higher, and they don't need to win, but it's better points than where they started. So Cooper Shipman working with Spencer Conrad, losing a little ground. Here comes Garbarino to the rear bumper. Valentino Garbarino, fastest car on the racetrack right now. Went purple last time by. Big push coming from Eli Warren down to turn 1 for 5th.
Yeah, so those 4, they have a beautiful opportunity if they want to catch back up. But as you were saying before, Xander, it's all about your starting position for the feature this afternoon, as there's a little bit of a touch there from Garbarino onto the back bumper of Shipman as we watch the 2 leaders make their way through the bull yet again. That second 4-pack, if they can just settle in here, they will start to edge back up. Last time by, they stayed about the same in the timesheet, so they're not pulling away by a huge margin. They just need that extra 10th or 2 a lap to catch back up.
Yeah, they're just a little bit there here, but they lost, like you said, a little bit to them. So Spencer Conrad, Cooper Shipman are slower than these 2. Caleb Gaffera, Ernesto Rivera pulling away, doing a nice job. Spencer Conrad trying to close up to him. Here's Shipman under fire from Garbarino for 4th. Garbarino inside, clear. Got him. Eli Warren trying to go as well. Not going to do it down the front stretch. 7 laps to go. Caleb Gaffera leads the way.
Yeah, Warren tucked back in the line, give a little bit of a push. There's a good shot now, and it looks like Garbarino is on the way. He is the fastest car on track. Closed it down by about 2/10, as you can see Rivera pushing Rivera hard into turn 4. And it looks like slowly but surely Garbarino, if he can get just a little bit closer into that drafting distance, can close back up here quickly.
That was a good lap for Spencer Conrad as well. He knocked a 10th.5 off the lead, so they're going to arrive. They keep working together. They're going to do it. Spencer Conrad, Valentino Garbarino, Cooper Shipman, Eli Warren, all on the way forward to arrive at the doorstep of the top 2. What does the lap time look like this time by as Garbarino pulls further away from Shipman? Eli Warren's going to have to go here soon. Here's the next group, led by the Iron Rock Tony Kart of Diego Guillo down the front straightaway. 6 laps remaining. Garbarino goes purple. Conrad, another 10th of a second off the leader, so both of them closing in. Shipman fading. Cooper Shipman's going to come under fire, and I think he has. Eli Warren's got around him for 5th, so Eli Warren into the top 5 once again, and the top qualifier now with some clear track ahead to try and roll with Garbarino and Conrad up to the lead.
And it looks like Garbarino last lap is purple, so he's now the fastest car, and he's pulling with him. Cooper Shipman right behind him as well. There's Eli Warren and company, who are slowly starting to edge the way back up. They're going to have 5 laps to go this time by. They are going to be just there at the end of it, probably with about the white flag or 2 to go, so they can't really start passing back and forth. If you're Shipman or Garbarino, you're going to have to just settle in where you are, give a little bit of a push as they come across the stripe now. 5 laps to go. Conrad, not Shipman, up into 3rd. He's edging up there just a little bit closer. Needs just a little bit of help from behind.
Yeah, Conrad that time, 50.54, 2/10 off the gap to Caleb Gaffera. So the gap is coming down with 5 laps to go. Caleb Gaffera, Ernesto Rivera doing everything by the book, what they should do, but the class is still just so beneficial for the drivers behind to close back up. It's like the catch-up factor on an arcade video game where the drivers behind get a little bit of a speed boost. That's what you're seeing. Spencer Conrad, Valentino Garbarino closing in. Eli Warren, I think, took a little bit too long to get around Cooper Shipman to start running forward, because Shipman losing the balance on that Iron Rock Tony Kart. He's just losing touch with him. He's in 6th, should be safe there. Does not have the pace to hang up front as it's 4 laps remaining now. Caleb Gaffera up the hill.
Yeah, I think if you're Eli Warren, the only thing you can hope for is the top 4 close in on each other and start battling back and forth in the next lap or 2. He's going to need a little bit of extra help as the 2 leaders make their way into turn 4. It looks like I don't think Rivera is going to try to make a move until he sees the 2 sticks in the air. So if you're Conrad or Garbarino, you're going to have to do it by yourselves, and they're slowly doing it. That last time by, they closed it down to 0.4, so they're well within the towing distance, making their way down into turn 8. They continue to close. You can see the gap visually decreasing lap after lap and corner after corner through turns 7 and 8 now. It's going to be about a 4-cart battle here into the next lap.
They'll all run wide out of turn number 9. Spencer Conrad's in the draft. He's safe. Garbarino is there. Eli Warren too far back to challenge. It'll be a four-way fight for the lead and the win at this rate. 3 to go. Caleb Gaffera, Ernesto Rivera, they've got company. You can put a blanket over all 4 of them up front as they roll down the backstretch. 2 car lengths back from Rivera to Spencer Conrad. He's going to need to go soon or he'll be the first victim of Conrad and Garbarino as they close up into turn 4.
I don't think Gaffera knows just how close they are behind. He knows his teammates behind him of Rivera, but if he takes a peek back here coming to the hairpin, he's going to see that he may have to start going on the defensive. As now here's a look on the inside. Rivera's going to go by. Does he bring anyone with him? It looks like it's going to be Conrad trying it. He's going to get around. Gaffera falls back to third.
Spencer Conrad has been so wicked quick. Now he's got to play his cards right. Eli Warren loving this, needs them to fight more to get there. Here comes Conrad for the lead. Final corner, gets through. Gaffera trying to follow. He tucks back in line, and 2 to go. Conrad takes him to the low side.
It looks like the 2 are going to fall from behind her, Rivera and Gaffera. Garbarino also right there as well, but here comes Eli Warren. This is exactly what he needed, a little bit of battling, a little bit of blocking. He is now going to close up in the draft, and he has now joined the party.
Look at Ernesto Rivera all the way around the outside. Gets clear for the lead. New leader, Ernesto Rivera with an arrow on the outside move in turn 4. Goes back to the point. Gaffera's in third. Spencer Conrad's got to be careful here this time in the hairpin. Here comes Gaffera to look low. Goes even lower than Conrad. Slide job and gets it done for second. Garbarino to third.
And now they're going to go door to door up the hill, and Eli Warren trying to see if he can't try to edge his nose into the top 2. And just like that, we now have separation again. This time it is Rivera by himself out in front by 2 kart links. This time by the white flag is out. It looks like Gaffera is going to have to take him the inside line. This is going to be point advantage to Rivera across the line.
Down to turn number 1 here. Caleb Gaffera needs a big push from Valentino Garbarino to get to the lead. Is Garbarino going to work with him, or does he fight for second? Gaffera's hoping he'll push him. He will. No, he won't. Turn 4. Garbarino tries the inside. Gaffera tries to close the door, and Garbarino gets the bumper hooked. He falls to 4th.
Yeah, he falls back just a little bit now. Gaffera up into second. I don't think he's going to have enough time to close up to Rivera unless he defends here coming into 8. It looks like he takes a peek back, takes from a racing line down the inside. It looks like Garbarino thought about it, trying to get around Conrad. Doesn't have enough. Eli Warren able to take off one more spot.
Warren still 5th there. Garbarino trying to hang on for P4 for dear life. They're making contact back with Warren. He gets knocked wide by Cooper Shipman, and across the line, Ernesto Rivera wins the pre-final in KA Junior. Gaffera 2nd, Conrad 3rd, Garbarino 4th. Shipman on the final lap gets it done on Eli Warren. Muscles his way into the top 5. Warren back to 6th. Guillo, 9 spots gained to 7th. Max Taylor, 16 spots gained from outside the top 20, gets to 8th by the end. Davin Roberts to 9th. Alex Mercado rounds the top 10 over Hudson Schwartz, who also picks up 16 spots from 27th on the grid to 11th. Great run going for Hudson Schwartz. And again, Gopher Motorplex, host of the IAME USA Grand National Championship presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. That's just 2 of the classes down for pre-finals. We've got 6 more sessions to go. Next up, X30 Masters. We'll get them on the racetrack as everybody chases Ben Cooper. We'll also start having a word with a number of our top X30 pros.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Karting is one of the most intense forms of motorsport, and if you manage a racetrack or commercial facility, you know how hard it is to find good help. Let us introduce to you our newest track safety product, the 4-flag light system from Pixelcom. Pixelcom products are incredibly affordable, and our plug-and-play system makes the only requirements lights and a wireless remote. The ability to upgrade your system with intuitive software and additional products makes this the perfect system for tracks of all sizes. Communicating with drivers on track will make your program run more smoothly and, most importantly, increase safety dramatically once deployed. Find us online today at tracksystemsna.com and let us elevate your motorsport.
Massive turnouts, world-class venues, and an awesome family-friendly atmosphere. All of these and more are pillars of the U.S. Pro Kart Series, which is gearing up for its biggest season yet in 2023. Orlando, Houston, Newcastle, Cincinnati, and Mooresville. Welcome to the top level of North American karting. Welcome to the U.S. Pro Kart Series.
And welcome back here, about to get underway with our X30 Master class. Everyone all weekend long has been chasing down your current pole sitter of Ben Cooper, running on the Rollison Performance Group Cosmic out in front. About 6 seconds has been the average time he has pulled away from the field, and Xander's been almost a dominant weekend for him so far.
Yeah, Ben Cooper has had it on lock. Talked to him after the shootout last night. He said, I was the Masters guy in there, and once I saw Norberg get through, I was kind of riding at that point because I didn't think I had anything for him, but I was the highest finishing guy in the field with kids. Ben Cooper, a dad as well, and he said, if you got kids, you probably should go and run Masters, but at least he was able to prove to himself that he's still got it, and he can hang with the best of the best in North American Pro Kart Racing here in X30 Pro. So cool to see him in his warm-up for the SuperKarts USA Super Nationals in Las Vegas in a month's time. We'll be having live on Kart Chaser as well. So excited to go and bring the action from Super Nats 25. $15,000 up for grabs in Pro Shifter and in X30 Pro. And Ben Cooper will be trying to take the win in X30 Masters with a number of stacked competitors, former X30 Pro competitors like the likes of Australians winningest go-karter Dave Serra, and an 18-time national champion in Australia. The one event that's eluded him now is a Super Nationals win. He said, if I win it in Masters, maybe I'll go back and give the young boys a run for their money, but they're not all at 15 years old hanging out at the blackjack tables late at night in Vegas like he is. So for the Masters guys, he says that's where he should be. And again, like himself, Ben Cooper, dads now, they got families of their own. They got kids they got to get back to on Monday. So he's going to try and make sure he brings it in one piece, and he's doing a great job of that. It's always clean and easy to do it when you lead the way. Ben Cooper has them down the front stretch here, ready to go for X30 Masters. And as they head onto the front straightaway, here we go, looking for the green flag. Cooper alongside Martin Pierce in that Trinity Karting Group Kart Republic. The driver coach for Lucas Palacio to the outside of the front row and down the inside. Josh Wise with a great start. He gets up to second off the bat. Side by side for third as Alex Mueller will work his way up to P3 with a good jump there. And back goes Martin Pierce to fourth. Here comes Max Pappas. Max the Axe down the inside there for fourth. And Mad Max takes over a spot inside the top five.
And already just like that, Ben Cooper has opened up a very large lead, about 4 or 5 kart lengths now over the rest of the field. Now it's Josh Wise up into P2 as we make their way down to turn 8 complex right now. They all stay in line, and this has been the name of the game here in the Master Class. They usually get single file, and they start battling it out for that second spot, trying to see if they can't possibly just hope for anything to catch back up to Ben Cooper. Currently leads the way in lap number 1. Like I said before, 6 seconds has been the average time he has opened up the rest of the field as he makes his way to complete lap number 1.
Down the front straightaway, Ben Cooper continues to lead. Pass coming for third. Mad Max going for P3 that time as well. Max Pappas up to third already as he gets by Alex Mueller. He was viciously signaling with his hand, let's go forward, let's go hunt down the leader. Well, the leader, Ben Cooper's long gone already here, but Josh Wise riding in second. Now has Max Pappas starting to bear down on him in that Orsilon Racing Tony Kart as they go through turns 5 and 6. 1 lap down, 15 laps to go here in X30 Masters. And into turn number 8. 2 car lengths separate second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth on the racetrack here as they exit the corner.
Yeah, I can see them working together. And like you said, Max Pappas slowly edging his way up to the field. He's been one of the front contenders battling for that second spot. Finds himself into P3 right behind Josh Wise. So let's see if maybe these two together might be able to close back up. They've been trying to dial in their karts all weekend long to get close to Ben Cooper as he makes his way across the stripe. Last time by, Ben Cooper has opened up a gap by about 1.1. And he went about 0.2 faster than both Josh Wise and Max Pappas, running 49.3s. Again, trailing off here about 10 to 15 car lengths behind. Here comes Max Pappas on the inside of Wise.
He'll take the second spot away. So Max Pappas now side by side with Wise into 5. Wise has to give way. Tucks back in line. Alex Mueller gives him a little shot in turn 6. Knocks him sideways, gives Max Pappas a gap into turn 8. And here's Mueller under fire. Martin Pierce had a look down the inside. Did not decide to go with it. He stays in line there as they go on through.
So now Max Pappas is going to lead that second pack, and let's see if maybe him by himself can close back up. He's already pulled away by a little bit over Josh Wise, Alex Mueller and company, followed by Martin Pierce and Todd Shambo also up in the mix. The last time by, well, Ben Cooper decided to better his best time. He dipped down to the 48s, went a 48.7. Max Pappas' last time was a 49.2. So he is already putting down the hammer and pulling away from the field. Almost 2 seconds as we are about 3 laps in.
Yeah, here we are, 3 and 13 to go. Max Pappas still in second. 2 car lengths up on Josh Wise, who will close the gap a little bit in the infield. Pappas gets a little bit sideways, loses some momentum. Wise going to close back in down to turn number 8 as they continue to roll on through here in X30 Master. Pappas wide again out of 8. Gets a good shot out of the corner, though, and he hangs on. And again, Todd Shambo, better run than he's had most of the week. He's closed the gap up to the top 5, and now running in 6 at the end of the line. They're right behind Martin Pierce while they head down the front straightaway. Ben Cooper long gone. Max Pappas hanging on for second as Josh Wise continues to add pressure.
Yeah, so he's going to try to see if he can't maybe force a mistake there from Max Pappas out in front of him. All he needs is just a little bit to bobble the momentum so he can then capitalize off of it and take a spot away as the second pack makes their way out of turn 3. Second, third, and fourth of Pappas, Wise, and Mueller can't really be separated by more than about a half a car length as now Wise all over the back bumper of Pappas, giving a little push there through the flatter part of the track coming out of 4. Now they make their way down the hill through the 5, 6, and 7 complex. Coming up the hairpin of turn 8, they all stay in line. Right now the gap between Ben Cooper, he went purple last lap again, 48.7. Max Pappas' last time was a 49.3.
Out of turn number 9 here, this time by 5 down, 11 laps to go. No change in the field as they round the final corner and head down the front straightaway. Max Pappas continues to lead that pack there, trailing Ben Cooper, who is pounding some more laps out in front, pulling away as they head down the back straightaway.
Yeah, they're back going to be 10 to go this next time by, and let's see now. Josh Wise is close. He has potential for a run. Does he decide to take it here? He does not. He stays right behind Pappas. And again, last time by, give an update on Ben Cooper. He decided to go a 10th better, 48.6. Last time for Pappas was a 48.9.
Through turn number 6 here, Pappas by a car length back to Josh Wise, who got a big run through the infield, but he's just kind of riding in second there. We're deciding when he wants to make the move. Pappas isn't necessarily slow by any means, but he's not any bit quicker, I don't think, than Josh Wise. Wise is better in some parts. Pappas, great run out of turn 8 that time. Pulled the gap back away as they exit the final corner.
So this time down across the stripe here for second on back, led by Pappas. It looks like no one is maybe trying to make a move here. They may be trying to do the long-term game of wait till you see about 3 to 2 laps to go to make your move. It's been about the same separation, as a little wide there, and almost dipping into the wheel goes Josh Wise on the exit 3, has to defend his inside line, and that is Alex Mueller trying to see if he can't capitalize the position.
Side by side coming out of turn 4 there. Little tap for Alex Mueller to the rear bumper of Josh Wise. I think he's getting a little antsy behind him here. He's close through 7. Does he duck out into 8? He does not. Stays in tow. Josh Wise hangs on to the 3rd spot for now with a great exit and pulls back up to the bumper of Pappas on the exit of the corner. So good bottom end power there for Josh Wise. Decent exit out of turn number 9. Max Pappas, little carburetor adjustment there as he reaches over to the engine side of the go-kart. Makes that adjustment, heads down the front straightaway. Still the leader of the group. Wise, big run to him down to turn 1.
Yeah, I think something else you got to keep in mind for Max Pappas is that he opened up a little bit of a gap there, the battle back and forth, but he is creating a little bit of a pocket of air that you can then take a draft from as they make their way heading down into turn 4. No one decides to duck down the inside and make a move. They all stay about bumper to bumper. Up the hill they come. Ben Cooper has now opened up a 3.8, almost a 4-second lead here with about 8.5 more laps to go.
So here they go on down through to turn number 8, 9 to go. Wise finally going to pull the trigger. He'll go down the inside on Pappas, and Mueller tries to follow. Pappas fights it. Turn 9. Look at Martin Pierce down the inside of Mueller. He gets put on the curb. No change all in all. They stay the same. Shambo goes on the outside. I think he will have to surrender that spot, and he does. And we go side by side now. Our Kendall Hedges caught up with Jeremy Fletcher, who rolls off mid-grid after a great run in the shootout last night. Let's see how he is. Kendall?
Here with Jeremy Fletcher. Jeremy, you weren't really happy with the results at the beginning of the weekend, but now you're starting P12. How are you feeling going into the final sessions of today?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a confidence booster from last night. Definitely had a lot more pace, so hoping for a good day today.
Well, compared to this layout yesterday, how are you thinking the racing is going to go all day today?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different doing this layout. Last night was more tactical at the shootout, but we'll see what we can do.
All right, well, sounds good and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, and back to you guys.
Jeremy Fletcher and the Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart locked in here for today, looking for a little bit of a better result. As you can see, he rolls off on the outside of row 6 down in 12th in X30 Pro. That's coming up next. So Jeremy Fletcher's Ryan Perry Motorsport operation got themselves $2,000 last night, nearly got the win before Norberg got around him and was able to pull away, and Ryan Norberg cashed a $5,000 payday last night in that MG Tires USA X30 Pro shootout. Into turn number 4 here still.
Yeah, so we continue to watch here this battle for the second spot. Again, that is Wise, Pappas, and Mueller. They've all been about the same, maybe swapping spots back and forth every now and then as they're making their way down into the turn 8 hairpin now. Anyone try to pop out on the inside? They do not, so it's going to continue to stay nose to tail, although Josh Wise leading that pack out in front, opening up just a little bit. Now he's about maybe 3 kart lengths ahead of the rest of the field of Pappas running in third. Your gap now to leader is at 5 and almost 5.5 seconds. This next time by will get a 100% guarantee on it, and across the stripe they come. It is at a 5.82. Nearly 6 seconds is how much Cooper has opened up over Wise. We're looking about 5 laps to go next time by.
Yeah, again, we're focusing here on the battle for P2 on back. Ben Cooper long gone out in front, continuing to pull away as the field heads into turn number 4. Alex Mueller trying to find a way around Max Pappas. He's all over him as Josh Wise has started to add a little bit to the margin through turn number 6. Headed into turn number 8 once again with 5.5 laps to go. Here's Martin Pierce getting racy. Trying Mueller, turn 8. Can't fully get it done, and he has to pull back in line just in front of Todd Shambo.
Yeah, and all the while, this has allowed the second and third placemen of both Wise and Pappas to open up just a little bit of an advantage of the rest of that battle going on back between Pierce, Mueller, and Shambo. So look for another possible separation there as they make their way across the stripe. 5 laps to go this time by. It looks like our very own Kendall Hedge is brought up to one of the breakout drivers this weekend, Justin Anacones. Kendall, take it away.
Down here with Justin Anacones. You didn't have the best night last night in the shootout, but you're on the front row for the pre-final. How does it feel right now?
I mean, I think our speed on this full track is really good, so just going to use that. We were fast on Friday, so I think we'll be good today, and hopefully get a good shot at the win.
With the layout yesterday, everybody was a little bit more stacked up. Do you expect the same results today or no with the different layout?
Based on Friday, the Heat 1, I don't think it's going to be as close just because the lap time's a lot longer. I think it's just going to be spread out, and maybe when you start blocking at the end, it might bunch up, but I think it's running pretty spread out.
All right, well, sounds good, and good luck the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, and back to you guys.
Justin Anacones had a great weekend so far in that MDR BJR Lando Norris card. He rolls off again on the outside of the front row alongside Ryan Norberg, who has been perfect all week. Shootout winner, pole award winner, heat winner in 1, 2, and 3. He'll line up on the front row on the inside of row number 1 for the pre-final here today. 4 laps to go in X30 Masters as Ben Cooper, his teammate, continues to pull away. Meanwhile, Josh Wise has company. Max Pappas has closed back in the fight for second as they go down to the hairpin.
Yeah, so Pappas using the draft to his advantage now. We're coming up on 3 laps to go. They got to be careful. If they continue to go back and forth, it could allow the rest of Alex Mueller and company to close back up. And right now, I think they have no chance to catch up to Ben Cooper. Now at about 7 seconds is the difference between them. So we're going to continue to watch here the battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Kendall Hedges caught up down with Adam Brickley, who had a up-and-down night in the shootout last night, but he's starting pretty good here for the pre-final this morning. Kendall?
Down here with Adam Brickley, you tore some stuff up last night in the shootout. Is the car okay for today?
Yeah, that was unfortunate that we couldn't end in like a top 5, but the kart seems pretty good, and I think we may have a shot today.
What are you expecting the racing to look like in the pre-final and the final today?
I think it's going to be a lot more spread out because the times aren't as close and just have to get in a draft.
All right, well, sounds good and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, and back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Kendall. Here, Adam Brickley getting set to roll off on the inside of row 3. Solid weekend, great debut in the X30 Pro class for rookie senior Adam Brickley. And again, one of the many privateer operations, father-son duo of himself and Jim just getting after it and going up against the biggest and baddest drivers here in North American kart racing. With 2 laps to go, Josh Wise and Max Pappas now have Martin Pierce closing in on them. He was finally able to get around Alex Mueller. And down the back straightaway here, down the inside. Not going to happen for anyone. It looked like Wise blocked a little bit, ultimately opened up for the corner normally.
Yeah, so they're starting to defend their line ever so slightly. Again, they saw the 2 laps to go. They know it's coming down to the wire. But at the same time, you're just trying to worry about where you're going to start in the feature this afternoon. There is only 9 set to take the green. As here's a look on the inside from Wise. He is going to take the spot away clean there from Pappas. So count Pappas back 1 more position. They're all going to see maybe here when the white flag comes out. I think Wise might be trying to run down here, or maybe I got the names wrong there.
Martin Pierce able to get the move done on Max Pappas. He gets the 3rd spot away. Josh Wise up ahead of him. White flag in the air for that man right there. Ben Cooper long gone, and the Rawls and Performance Group Cosmic just pounding some laps in as he continues his picture-perfect weekend. Even a leg up on Norberg. He's led every single lap from the pole and has been dominant in X30 Masters as they now fight for it back for 3rd. Alex Mueller versus Max Pappas. Side by side for 4th. Pappas hangs on.
So there's a good shot of your leader going by. That, again, is Ben Cooper making his way through. He's coming up through the final parts of the track. Meanwhile, the battle that we've been watching is making the way through the Turn 8 complex. There it is as Pappas getting run a little bit wide there. There goes by your leader, Ben Cooper, now at about 9 seconds this time across the line. It is going to be another stamp in the book here for Ben Cooper, making it almost a picture-perfect weekend so far, taking the win in all 3 heats along with the pre-final.
Ben Cooper wins. Josh Wise 2nd. Pierce 3rd, side by side at the stripe. I think Max Pappas held on for 4th over Alex Mueller to round off your top 5. And now we shift gears to the X30 Pro class down on the grid at Ryan Norberg. What a week it's already been. 5K in the books. He'd love to add another $5,000 for that big payday this afternoon in the X30 Pro main event. Justin Ataconis, best of the rest, has been able to lead some laps here this weekend. His first time in his career in one of his send-off races before he graduates up, moves off to college in the BJR MD Orlando Norris Kart. Row 2, Alex Stanfield. Close last night, got taken out early in the shootout. He's ready to rock in that Team GWR Tony Kart to the inside of row 2. Hayden Jones, so much speed all week long, but he's not had the best of starts. He's had to come through the field in every single heat race. Rolls off a little better here on the outside of row 2 for the pre-final in 4th. Row 5, Aiden Ingrata will line up on that Speed Concepts Racing CRG. Him and Stanfield got into it there in the shootout, was able to kind of re-rack himself here for this morning, and he's had some decent pace. Nate Cicero might be a really good pick here today. He has been one of the fastest drivers so far this week. And the number 382 RPG Cosmic rolls off on the outside of row number 3. Moving further back down the grid, you can see Adam Brickley there in the number 1, rolling off in that 7th position. To his outside will be Brian Boley in the 325. Boley made the shootout last night as the 10th seed. He was consistent through his heat races. He's looking good here. It's Paulie Massimino, Jacob Kolar, Wes Duchek. The rest of the field, keep your eye on the number 14 of Dalton Haynes with an engine change overnight going to the tail end of the field, and Kiffin Simpson on the same boat in that MPG Motorsports Will Power Kart. The number 21 of Kiffin Simpson and the 14 of Dalton Haynes will start at the tail end of the field here in the pre-final. We'll see how many spots they can make up here, Caleb.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. We saw it previously in the past couple of days here with both Brayton Eaves had to go to the back of the field. He was able to work his way up along with Connor Zillage, so it is possible to make up a large amount of positions. If you're Dalton Haynes, the hometown hero, has a lot of laps here at GoPro, had his breakout event to put his name up on the national circuit this time last year, or I should say this time 3 months ago last year, knows and should know how to get it done.
So the overhead shot showing as the drivers begin to warm the tires up for your X30 Pro class that always lines the stands here just like the KA100 Seniors will as well later on this morning. Next up after this will be the Mini Swifts, then your X30 Pro Juniors, and then time for your KA100 Senior show. So they'll hit the cut through at turn number 3 and begin to form up behind Mr. 7-time, and as of last night, Mr. $5,000. Ryan Norberg has the field together. Can the perfect streak continue here this morning with a pre-final win? We are about to find out of turn number 8 this time. They'll head over to turn number 9. Norberg again alongside Justin Ataconis, the only other driver to lead laps so far this week. That's how dominant he has been with his Rollison Performance Group team. And the 348 will take them to the top of the hill. Alex Stanfield showed a good bit of progression through the heats by the end of the day yesterday, getting a bit closer, got up to second for a good part of Heat 3. Ultimately, though, he needs a little more to fight with Norberg. So does everybody else. They're all chasing number 48 down to turn number 1. No green that time by. 2 spread out for the field, so we'll send them around again, and it gives us a moment to go through some of the other storylines again. We talked about Hayden Jones. So much speed for Hayden Jones in those heat races. I think he could be one to watch here in the pre-final.
Yeah, he's been dominant both in the KA and the X30, making his way towards the front. A big contender for that $5,000 yesterday when it came time to the shootout. He had a great couple of heat races, was able to get his way up to the front, but then just a little bit of bad set of series of unfortunate events that happened for him kept him back in that 5th and 6th position. But now let's see if today he can learn from that and improve on it as he'll be rolling off in P4.
So here they come out of turn number 9. They'll begin to form up once again and warm those tires up one more time, clean them off, really, because when they go through that cut through, there's all kinds of dirt and extra marbles. That's the pieces of rubber that come off the tires that only get pushed to the outside groove when you go to a part of the racetrack, not normally run. Well, then you got to clean them back off in that lap or half lap around turn 8, turn 9 into the final corner. But they can't do that once they get into the tram lines. They got to get set for action here. Green flag coming this time by. Down to turn number 1. Norberg, Ataconis. Looks good. It is good. We're green down to the first turn. Ryan Norberg leads your field down to turn number 1.
Yeah, and right behind him, it looked like it was a decent run there from Justin Ataconis on the outside line. He was able to tuck into tow and then slotting into the 3rd spot as Alex Stanfield. Not a whole lot of drama up in front as they all go the inside to defend there into turn number 4. A little side-by-side action up the hill of the bowl.
Single file at the front here, Justin Ataconis. Watch Norberg build a big gap on cold tires early on in the heat races. Have they gone a little bit better with pressure to challenge him? Norberg blocks the inside a little bit into turn 8. Ataconis will close up into turn number 9. Give him a little love tap. Goes for the lead in turn 9. Ataconis goes a little wide. Here comes Stanfield fighting for second. Ataconis will get back in line, but he gave a shot at it. Now he's going to try again. Last turn. Justin Ataconis coming to play here on Sunday morning. And now he's got Norberg trying to lead the train down below.
Yeah, Norberg's taking the inside line. Looks like Stanfield and Jones are going to follow in suit. That's going to push Ataconis now back into the 2nd spot. Norberg looking back to see where he's sitting in. Justin may be a rookie, but he knows what he's got to do to the veteran. He got to keep him back and keep him back at bay early.
So Justin Ataconis now has got to keep those tires clean, having to go offline a couple times. Took a few shots at him. Does he take another one this time in turn number 8? I don't know if he's close enough. He's 2 car lengths away. Norberg leads into the hairpin. Ataconis tried it. Couldn't fully get there as they block behind. Aiden Ingrata trying to hang on.
Yeah, Aiden Ingrata sees the top 4, maybe starting to pull away just a little bit. Alex Stanfield, someone who is very patient when it comes to running in a pack race in both the KA and now he's running it in the X30. I think you saw just how much pace Ataconis had and how much he was willing to take the fight to Ryan. He decides to sit back and try to keep him at bay, but he has got his rear view mirror, Hayden Jones, pushing on his back bumper.
Good run through turns 1 and 2 for Ataconis. Hits the curbing there up the top of the hill to turn number 3, though. Loses a little bit of the front nose, and Norberg leads them into 4. Hey, Alex Stanfield still really close there. Hayden Jones close as well. Ataconis trying a few moves, maybe keeping his pocketbook for that main event. He's just got to keep it clean, and he'll have a really good starting spot. Big run, though, to the hairpin this time. Does he go again? Not this time, but Jones will for 3rd, and he gets the job done on Stanfield. He'll bring more. Here comes, who is that? Aiden Ingrata up into the 4th spot as well.
Yeah, this year running there in second position of Justin Ataconis, what you don't want to see is the teammate of the guy you're trying to run down of Hayden Jones, someone who's had a lot of pace all season long, especially here at the track. He calls home right behind you as Ryan gets up on the wheel. Looks like Justin did not have as good a run as he did last time, the final couple of corners, but now he's got a little bit of something coming up the hill here in 3, but he got a little loose there on exit.
Yeah, again, Ryan Norberg a little better on the early sector of the racetrack. Ataconis a little better in the infield here, so he's got to really get a good run through 6 and maybe dive bomb him into turn number 8. He might have been close enough last time, might be close enough again this time here. Good run through 6. Still about 2 car lengths back. Too far to really dive bomb him there in turn number 8.
So he's going to continue to fall. A little pass back there. Nate Cicero is trying to set sail as he makes his way around Stanfield. He's got his eyes set on Ingrata. And again, if you're Ingrata, you're going to be another RPG sandwich. Right in front of you is Hayden Jones. Right behind you is Nate Cicero. Here's the leaders making their way through. Top 4 perfectly spaced out there from the rest of the crew. A little bit of separation from the top 2 and the 3rd and 4th. This time by, it's going to be 14 more laps to go. Still plenty of time. But Justin's got to hold on to the veteran of Ryan Norberg.
Hayden Jones on the way forward here as Ataconis gets a better run through turns 1 and 2. Closes up to the bumper down by turn number 4. So Ataconis better run that time in the first sector. Can he get a good run in the infield again? Norberg hanging on. Everybody's on their 5th and final heat cycle here, just trying to hang on for dear life with those MG yellow tires. But Norberg sets sail there out of turn 6.
I think it's going to be the best entrance for Anaconas to try to make a pass there going into 4. What he's got to do, since Hayden Jones is one of the quicker karts on track right now and also teammates the guy in front of you, is he's got to get around Ryan Norberg and then try to keep him at bay as long as possible, hoping that Aiden Agrada can catch back up and kind of stir the pot up to keep everyone at bay.
Down the front stretch here for Justin Ataconis, losing some more time. Norberg beginning to pull away as we go back to Alex Stanfield here. This is the fight for 6th. He's got Paulie Massimino bearing down. Nate Cicero, terrible start for the 382. Faded back a number of spots and is now trying to fight his way back forward to get up to his 2 teammates that run 1st and 3rd, Norberg and Jones, out of turn 4 into 5 and 6. Here's a look back at Stanfield leading Paulie Massimino, Nate Cicero, Brian Boley, and Jacob Kolar, who's having a solid week there running in the 10th spot.
Yeah, so they're all going to make their way down to turn 8. No one defends. No one tries to pop down to pass. Paulie Massimino gets a little bit of a good run there. Better than Alex Stanfield's make their way up the hill. Switching back over, Hayden Jones has caught up to the back bumper of Anaconas, and now he is going to try to see if he can't set him up for a pass. Gets a decent run there out of the final corner. He's tucked into the toe. Justin's up on the wheel, but he just doesn't have enough to get it done in 1.
Not close enough there. Just can't fully keep it dialed in as they go up the top of the hill. Here comes Hayden Jones. He'll get a big run on Ataconis by turn 4. Went a little wide in 3, though, so we can't get him there. But he's also got to be smart. I mean, he's on identical equipment to Ryan Norberg. You'd think pretty similar setups as well with both tire pressure and chassis changes. So Hayden Jones, even if he gets around Ataconis, if he loses too much time doing it, he won't be able to run with the 348. As Hayden Ingrata runs 4th, and 5th is Adam Brickley there, still rounding off the top 5.
Yeah, Ingrata trying to do whatever he can to catch back up. He's got Brickley behind him. They aren't teammates, but they are just trying to work together to catch back up to the top 3. What they would love to see is Jones work with Anaconas to catch back up to Norberg, and then maybe a little bit of blocking side-by-side action would then bring the field back to them. Right now with 11 laps to go, again, they still have plenty of time. And as you said before, Xander, these tires are on the end of their lifeline as they are now just trying to survive it to the end.
Hayden Jones all the way to the bumper of Ataconis that time. He's just kind of trapped in a bubble about 3 car lengths back from Norberg. Norberg not getting away, but not close enough for Ataconis to be able to really mount a charge. Good run of the infield this time for Ataconis as he closes back up.
Yeah, so Ryan Norberg has been keeping this. There's a look on the inside there from Brickley to get around Ingrata. Ingrata goes wide, goes straight back into tow, but they're going to lose just a little bit of time there. That second pack, which I believe is being led by Stanfield and Massimino. They may have switched positions, but I think it's still Stanfield in front of Massimino, running 6th and 7th respectively.
Yeah, Alex Stanfield, Paulie Massimino, Nate Cicero, all in that group. Here is a look at where they're at. Massimino's gotten around Stanfield, and it looks like he's trying to hunt down for more. No, Stanfield, sorry, still, he's trying to hunt down Adam Brickley there as well. So Adam Brickley, Aiden Ingrata, Stanfield, Massimino all together. Stanfield still 6th, Massimino indeed still 7th, so you're right on that call. Here's Ataconis, close through 6th, but gets a little bit sideways in the center of the corner. Just, again, can't really break that bubble of 2 car lengths up to Ryan Norberg, and Hayden Jones in the same boat.
Yeah, but it looks like he's slowly starting to edge his way back up to him. I don't know if Ryan's maybe trying to save his tires for the end to go on the defensive, or Justin started to save there in that second half of the first part of the race as they make their way into the final corner now. Let's see if he can get a good run out of the last corner. Goes a little wide. He's going to have to stay in the tow yet again. And as you said, still about that 2 to 3 car bubble as they make their way into turn number 1.
Halfway home here as Alex Stanfield is going to get by Aiden Ingrata. He takes over the 5th spot, gets himself back up a little higher. Here's the overhead shot. You can see Ataconis pulling up at the end of the backstretch in the tow. Rolls turn 4 pretty well, closing up towards him into 5 and 6. And Ryan Norberg's got only 2 car lengths through the infield section as Jones starts to fade backwards just a little ways.
So making the way into the hairpin, it looks like he's not close enough to dive for a dive bomb that time. He needs about another maybe 10 to 15 feet if he wants to try it. Up the hill they come through the quick 7 and 8 through the final couple of corners. And it looks like Hayden Jones is also plateauing out on the back of Justin Anaconis. And some of this may be due to the fact that we were talking about before of the aero wash. When you get behind someone at high speed, you have to rely more on those front wheels as you have to crank the wheel a little bit more to get more grip into it, and that just overheats your tires.
Yeah, it's just that little bit of not having air on the front nose of the go-kart that just makes it just a touch higher. It's a much bigger effect in open-wheel race cars and NASCARs. We got problems Raiden Ingrata, Cooper Beasley. Cooper Beasley has a bent rear axle. I think he might have tagged the wall coming onto the front straightaway, and the Speed Concepts Racing CRG of Cooper Beasley was inside the top 15. He will watch the rest of this one from the sidelines.
So now we switch back over the battle of the top 3. I think this one may stagnate out. It's about 5 3/4 lap to go as we switch back down to Nate Cicero, who is leading what appears to be, I think that's Kolar right behind him. I couldn't quite get a clear view of it, but there's your top 3 making the way back down across the stripe. 5 laps to go, and Anaconis, if he's got something, is going to have to crank it up because last time by, Hayden Jones went purple, so he now inherits the fastest time of the session.
Yeah, these guys are rolling up front here. Justin Anaconis really clicking some good laps together to hang with Ryan Norberg, but it's just not enough. Jones as well on the limit for all 3 of them trying to stay close to each other. And again, they'll get new rubber for the final, so no need to really save any bit of the tires, but you just want to make sure you got enough to fight in the last 2 laps here through turn number 8. Jones getting closer to Anaconis. Good run through the center of the hairpin for Hayden Jones. He pulls to a half car length away.
He gets a little wide there coming out of turn 8, and that has allowed Jones to close up now by about a half a car length now to his back bumper. Through the final corner they go down this long main straightaway. Let's see if Jones is able to get a bit of a better run. He goes to the back bumper, decides to push him. He doesn't want to pass yet. I think he still has hopes of trying to get around Anaconis a little bit later on and shake a pass for the win.
And as well, it'd be a 3rd place potential starting spot for Hayden Jones in that main event. That's a great position to be in as Norberg goes wide in turn 4. A mistake from Ryan Norberg. He goes wide in the pole. Anaconis closer than he's been in a minute. A car length and a half back into turn 7, though not close enough. Jones still rides in line behind him, gives him the opportunity to close that gap even further.
Yeah, it looked like Anaconis got a decent run out of turn number 6, but not quite enough to make a move there. Jones, though, pushing on his back bumper. How long till he decides it's his opportunity to go? As now it looks like Ryan Norberg recovering off that mistake there into 4. Opens up a 2-car length again, and we're back to it all over again. Anaconis in P2, Hayden Jones pushing his back bumper into 3. Both trying to chase down Ryan Norberg, continuing to lead from the start.
Anaconis with a big run there through turn 2, through turn 3, trying to stay close to him, trying to hang on into turn number 4 at a racetrack he's been so comfortable with here. Norberg still the leader, headed on through as they go to turn number 5. Justin Anaconis needs that good run through 6, just doesn't quite have the stability it looks like in the center of the corner. Kart just steps out a little bit on him there in the low-speed stuff, and compared to the RPG Cosmics where they're a little more planted in turn 6 and turn 8, and then here through turn 9, same type deal. Anaconis great in the high speed, able to close up to Ryan Norberg, but just loses the back end a little bit. Can't get the power down as smoothly as Norberg can through the infield. 5 to go. Now here down to turn number 1, and Jones finally pulls the trigger. He gets the 2nd.
Yeah, I think if you're Justin now, you're going to have to see if you can't follow Hayden Jones. You can't fight him on it. It's 4 laps to go, so if he can stay in the wake of him and maybe just get a little bit extra there on the end of the long straightaways, seeing him close back up to Ryan Norberg, if Jones decides to possibly go for it in the final 2 laps, he'll be right there to capitalize off any mistakes made.
To me, it looks like a little bit of kind of a setup change-off. Justin Anaconis looks really good in the high-speed turn number 4 and decent through turn number 3, but his kart's a little bit more free than Ryan Norberg and Hayden Jones. They're a little more planted in the higher speed corners, and they can do that because it keeps them a little better in the low speed stuff, and that's where they're able to pull on him. So Norberg up the hill, 3 to go this time by, 5-car length lead over his teammate Hayden Jones.
Hayden Jones still holds the fastest lap of the session. I don't anticipate him having it this time by, or increasing, I should say. As we look back, there's Justin Kolar chasing down Nate Cicero. They find themselves running back in the 8th and 7th position, so this is just a little bit farther back. You can see just how spread out the field has gotten as they make their way out of turn 3. Meanwhile, the leaders are just not making their way out of the bowl of turn number 4.
Yeah, Jacob Kolar has been on a great week so far. The rookie up to 8th here. His best run of the weekend, I believe, in a very tame pre-final. And Hayden Jones trying to close in here with 2 laps to go on Norberg, trying to build a little gap over Anaconis to make it safe on the final couple circuits. He's closed up a little bit now. Double stick's going to go in the air. He'll need a Superman level of the final 2 laps to close to the 3:48 machine, though. Final time, or second to last time down around the front stretch here. 2 laps remaining. Ryan Norberg, the leader. Jones second, Ataconis in third.
2 laps to go, and I don't think they're going to get close enough to make a move on Ryan Norberg unless something drastic happens. We did see Ryan make one mistake heading into 4, which allows him to close back up. Heading into 4 now, almost picture perfect for him. And again, that wake is opening up there just a little bit from Norberg to his teammate of Hayden Jones. But as you said before, Xander, almost perfectly, they almost probably have identical setups on the kart since they are teammates. So you kind of know what the other person is doing. As we look now, there's Braden Eves and Connor Zilich. They're trying to see if they can't close back up to Pauly Massimino, who's holding the 10th position right now.
Yeah, they've had to come to the field in all their heat races, and the same deal here in the pre-final for them to get a decent starting spot in the main. Zilich so close to the win last night there. He was the second quickest to Norberg in that X30 Pro shootout. So closing in on the top 10 for Connor Zilich and Braden Eves. They've already got around Brian Boley. White flag in the air here for the field down the front stretch. There's Kolar and Cicero, and here is Eves and Zilich down to turn number 1 with Boley behind. They're too far back from Massimino. Here's the leaders, though. Norberg, Jones, Ataconis, 1, 2, 3, headed through turn 4.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be any moves made in that top half. It looked like Jones was able to open up just a little bit more over Justin Ataconis, by about 2 or 3 kart lengths, but there's no need to defend here from Ryan Norberg. He still has it in control as he's holding on to about 3 car length advantage. Out of turn 8 for the final time. Only one good passing opportunity, but I think Hayden Jones is a little too far back.
3 car lengths back for Hayden Jones. Won't be close enough. Ryan Norberg's sweep of the weekend continues. Final corner, and the Orlando, Florida native will start from the pole to try and go back-to-back here at the X30 Pro Division IAME USA Grand Nationals. Ryan Norberg wins the pre-final 3 wide across the line back for the 4th spot. Adam Brickley came under heavy fire there at the end. Hangs on over Alex Stanfield, who gets back into the top 5. Aiden Ingrata 6th, Brian Boley 7th, Nate Cicero 8th, Jacob Kolar 9th, Pauly Massimino rounds the top 10 over Zilich and Eves, who both pick up a good amount of spots there on their drive forward. Then Kate Downs 13th, Julian DaCosta 14th, Ashley Rohiro Butcher 15th, Dalton Haynes with an engine change drives up to 16th, 11 spots gained from the back of the field. We'll go to a commercial break here live from Mooresville, North Carolina. Stick with us, though. We'll have a word with our top finishers here in the X30 Pro pre-final. Ryan Norberg wins it over Hayden Jones and Justin Ataconis. We'll be right back.
Welcome back here as we're about to get underway with our mini Swifts. Our very own Kendall Hedge just caught up with the winner from the pre-final here, Ryan Norberg. Kendall, take it away.
Down here with Ryan Norberg, they call you Mr. Consistency for a reason. You have one more race to go. Are there any changes that you're planning to make, or are you going to keep everything about the same?
Oh, we obviously got to find a little bit more speed. Hayden was fast at the end there. I mean, I was working pretty hard to stay up front. And they obviously challenged a little bit in the beginning of that race. And so, yeah, if we want to, lead every lap, we got to do a little something different. We're going to continue to work on the kart and try and figure something out. But, I mean, yeah, it was a good race. Stayed clean and stayed out of some trouble early on. So, yeah, I mean, that's all you can ask for.
Are you expecting for the final to be stacked up with everybody, or are you planning to pull away?
Well, obviously I want to pull away, but, I mean, it's up to everybody else, I know how I've been raced, so I know what's coming. I know there's however many guys, 30-something guys that don't want me to win. So, I gotta watch out for that.
Well, sounds good, and good luck the rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, and back to you guys.
Thank you, Kendall. And again, that's a good perspective there from Ryan Norberg. He knows that a bunch of guys deep in the field may have a bigger target on his back, as he knows that he has been the 7-time champion so far. One of the most consistent drivers that you'll probably see in karting in general. Has already stamped his name into the history books as one of the best, and he is always up there in the front of the field as we are now rolling off with our Mini Swift division. Leading the front of the field is going to be Felipe Jesus Benito on pole position. Next to him is going to be Isaac Malkit in P2. Travis Pettit will start in the 3rd spot, with P number 4 going to Michael McGoy. Rounding out your top 5 is Max Christie with Salvador De La Vecchia in the 6th position. Luke Palacio will roll off in the 7th spot. Next to Devin Walls in 8th. Landon Brewer rounds out the 9th spot, with Thomas Chrisman in completing the top 10. Again, in total, there are going to be 28 drivers taking the green here this afternoon for their pre-final. And this is going to be a 17-lap pre-final event as they're now making their way through turns number 4 right now. We're going to send it down to Xander Clements, who has caught up again with Mr. 7-time Ryan Norberg. Xander?
Well, Ryan, back here under the lights during the day, kart seems pretty good. Looked like a little bit of difference in strengths, and you knew Adakonis was going to try and throw something at you. Walk me through those first few laps.
Well, obviously, it's coming, and obviously it's been a whole year of that same stuff. So, trying to get out of the way, when they go in there, the point is that, either I stay there and we crash, or they're going to go by. And so it's just about getting out of the way in time. And so, yeah, I was trying to time those passes. Got lucky a couple times. Got a push on the second one when he passed me in the last corner. I was able to clear him. If I didn't get the push, I don't think I was going to be able to clear him. But, yeah, I mean, it's the same stuff. You just got to kind of keep your nose clean and try and let everybody make their passes and then try and do something afterwards.
Hayden Jones was really quick there at the end. He was able to track you down just a little bit. How different were you guys going into the morning setup-wise, and what can you learn from him?
Well, Hayden struggled a little bit in the morning. He had something go on with his carburetor, so, he didn't really show his true pace. But, obviously we get to see that stuff on the data, and I know he's been fast. I mean, he's the guy that, right now has been the fastest on this layout, and, I mean, he's quick here for a reason. I mean, this is home track. He knows this place pretty well. So, yeah, I mean, obviously having him start on the outside is good for the team, but yeah, it's a little more difficult for my race.
We'll see how it goes here. Ryan Norberg rolls off from the pole. Perfect weekend so far. Congrats, Ryan.
Thank you, man.
Back to you, Caleb.
Thank you, Xander. About to go green here for our Mini Swifts, as again, it's going to be Felipe Jesus Benito taking them down to the green, with Isaac Malkit in the 2nd spot, making the way down to the line. Looks like a decent start here. It looks like Malkit hanging back just a little bit, goes straight to the inside, trying to muscle his way into the 2nd position, and he's going to be caught on the outside of the exit of turn number 2. It looks like there's a cone in the middle of the track heading into 3. They're going to have to split it to go around, making their way down out of turn 3. They're all going to fan out 3 and 4 wide, and it is now going to be Benito leading Malkit up the hill. Isaac able to get back around Travis Pettit down into the quick little left-right section of the track for the double left-hander, coming down into the hairpin of turn 8. And they are out now, all single file, making their way down towards that hairpin. A couple guys going down low, maybe make a pass, and a little bit of a block there as well. Your top 3 now bunched up. That is going to be Benito, Malkit, and Pettit, 1, 2, 3. Before we get to P4, who I think may be, if I'm not mistaken, that is going to be a Kart Republic of Max Christie up in the mix as well, coming out of the final corner, heading down the straightaway yet again. Lap number 1 of 17 in the books, and I'm now joined here as we watch side by side with the top 2 of new Malkit now taking the lead. Chase Jones is joining me in the booth. Chase, tell us so far, how's your weekend been going?
For myself, not so great. I seem to be in the midst of all the crashes throughout the heat races. Had some bad luck with some engine problems as well. So we roll off, I think, 14th in the pre-final. So we've got the speed to finish in the top 5, and that's cool.
Now you're one of the closest fields so far, the KA100 Senior class. Overall, what are your thoughts about how you feel about starting kind of in the mid-pack? They're taking all 53, I've been told. So how do you feel about starting that mid-pack of all that?
Yeah, I mean, 53 is a wild number to start on this racetrack. I think it's going to be, elbows up the whole time. Luckily, or hopefully, we can get a good final position, to start us off and go forward. We have the speed. We've proven that every morning warm-up. So as long as I can avoid all the crashes and carnage, I think we'll be just fine.
Now we are watching side-by-side actions. It looks like it is now going to be Travis Pettit getting around Isaac Malkett. Now you yourself are you could call yourself the team principal of MPG and WPK. You don't really have any kiddos in this class right now in the micro and minis, but you do have some other drivers in the KA100 Junior and Senior class. What have you been working on with them, especially here at this track?
Well, I've actually got Landon Buer in this race. Landon joined us halfway throughout the year here, and we've been working on some racecraft things, and he's proven to listen and get after it. So hopefully we can, move forward and have a good, final position here. But the rest of the guys are working hard to clean up their racecraft, and everything's dialed in. Just got to avoid the carnage, like I said.
So, yeah, that is my mistake. Landon Brewer, who is on the Kart Republic, is up in the mix. He is currently running in the 9th position from about where he started as we make the way across the line right now. He's up in that main pack. What advice have you given him specifically for coming into this micro and mini race as we continue to watch the top field of Pettit, Isaac Malkett, and Benito running 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great driver. We've just been working on the aggression side of it, not, second-guessing ourselves to make moves early. So, with him, it's just all racecraft things, and he's proven to listen to us. So, it's good to see that. Good to see that everything back inside the tent's working, and, it looks like we've got speed here as well.
So about 14 laps to go. We currently watch the top two going back and forth. Again, that is Travis Pettit and Isaac Malkett. Malkett now up to the front of the field. P3 of Felipe Jesus Benito, who originally started up on pole positions. We see a little door-to-door action just behind them. That's between Michael Magoy and Salvador De La Vecchia making the way down to the stripe. Now, I know, Chase, I owe a lot to you for being an announcer because you attempted to be an announcer while at Raceway Park, and then they decided to get you out of the booth, and that's when I came back into it. So why don't you go ahead and give it another crack at it and see how you can do. Yeah,
well, it looks like Malkewitt's going to, take us to the backstretch here, single file with three of them. Caleb, there's a reason why I was out of the booth, and that's why I handed the mic over to you. So I think I'll just, roll off of what you say.
I'll make you the color commentary here. Just throw out anything you see on that screen. You can go ahead and interrupt me as they continue to watch the top three coming down in the double Fs and making the way into the hairpin. Now, something we've seen here, too, is just how much the draft effect comes into a play. Obviously, the KA class, you guys are very tight. It's not like the X30 where they're able to gap each other. How much, as a driver, have you been able to feel that draft as opposed to other layouts that you've had?
I mean, it's huge. The arrow here on all the high-speed corners is unlike any other racetrack, especially when you're bumper-to-bumper with a guy, and the front end just wants to drive you off the racetrack. So that's something you get used to, kind of makes you second-guess your setup. But, yeah, I mean, the draft is massive just like anywhere else, but I think especially with these, lower horsepower motors, it's even more.
Now, something that we've been talking about, too, is tire wear when you're in that so-called aero wash from being right behind someone who's cutting the air for you. You're going to have new sets of tires when it comes time to the feature. Do you think you're going to be having to worry about tire degradation with those 20 to 25 lap features, or do you think it's going to be mostly you can actually lean on it a little bit more?
I've actually been pretty impressed of how the tires are holding up. I mean, we threw on some news and didn't seem to go much better, and with all the heats and everything that we've already had, the tires have still held up to their speed, and I haven't seen much degradation in them, and I think it's a good tire.
All right, so we continue to watch here. That is, again, the top three of Isaac Malkett, Travis Pettit, and now Felipe Jesus Benito is caught back up, making a 1-2-3 breakaway. Down the inside comes Pettit, getting a little bit of help from Felipe down into turn one. Malkett now going to go back into the third spot. And it almost looks like Benito decided to go side-by-side through turn number two, and now they're going to go door-to-door yet again. That is going to be seeing if Benito maybe can make a move. He's going to push the back bumper of Pettit, and that's going to cause Malkett to fall back into that third spot. Now, what the 53 karts, Chase, we've been talking about in the KA100 specifically for you, we've seen a lot of guys in the turn three on the start. Turn one, everyone seems to possibly try to work their way through. Maybe a couple guys have to take the escape route, but it looks like turn three is when everyone starts to block it up in the track. Specifically, what have you seen that may cause a little bit of worry for you?
I think it just all has to do with, people avoiding the barriers in the little kink after turn one. I think that pretty much dictates what's going to happen in turn three. All the starts have been just carnage in general. So, I think turn 3 carnage starts by, the outside row having to come back to not hit the barriers.
All right, so and I think that's something we've been seeing a lot too, and a lot of times guys been taking that, you want to call it an escape route, but having to go way wide on the runoff. You can see there from the top of your screen. As now we continue to watch, here's Lucas Palacio making his way back up through the field. He is now up into P3. He is going to push Benito back into 4. Salvador De La Vecchia in the 5th spot, went purple that last time by. He is starting to lead that second pack back up to the front, being followed by Devin Walls and Michael McGoy. After that, we get to Max Christie in the 8th position, Landon Brewer in P number 9. Again, that is one of Chase's kiddos running in the MPG WPK on the Kart Republic. And then Thomas Crispin running inside the top 10. Now, if you were in your driver of Brewer's position, you can see that the top 7 are going back and forth. Do you want him to start battling with that mid-pack and try to get maybe some heat points, or do you want him to try to force the issue and stay calm and catch up to that front field?
I think it's going to be a 10-cart battle here at the end. I think the lines are going to change, start getting narrower, and bring that second group back in. It looks like they're matching pace pretty well. If those 3 there that are hooked up on the back straightaway can push each other to get up there, you see the battles going on now. I think it's going to turn into, elbows up with 10 drivers coming to the end.
And they've seen a little bit of back and forth here as we now have Isaac Malkit back up onto point. Again, Pettit in P2. And now it looks like, and I believe, that is Salvador De La Vecchia making his way up into the 3rd spot. So that's going to push Benito back into P4. Here comes the rest of the field out of the bowl. Up the hill they go. And something else, Chase, sorry, I'm trying to pick your brain as much as we can because we can actually have one of the drivers in the KA field just sit down and decompress everything that's been going through because you guys are one of the tightest classes. What we saw in the shootout in the KA and also in the X30, mostly in the X30 with the alternate layout, it seems like you guys have to have your elbows up and be more aggressive when it comes to passing. Is it like that, or can you do more textbook-style passes?
Just with the other layout?
Just in general, what this layout we're about to do here this afternoon.
I think this layout, honestly, is a lot better as far as aggression goes. Yesterday, I thought the layout, made you make very precise, hard passes. I think that had a lot to do with all the carnage that happened yesterday. I think this layout is more flowy, more open, and I don't think we've seen too much bad things happen so far. So I'm happy we're running this layout today because yesterday I was ready to pull the plug on myself.
Now, I want to pick your brain, too, about the different types of layouts. You come from the Midwest area. You and I both grew up racing on street courses or bull rings or narrow tracks. We obviously had Newcastle Motorsports Park. We're in all of them. Out of the 3 layouts so far, in all your history in karting and racing cars, which one was your favorite?
The one we ran in the heats all day yesterday. I mean, that type of racetrack is my jam, tight, technical. And I think we proved that as soon as we, went out for the first practice, top of the charts, and was pretty happy about it. And I was really looking forward to it, but unfortunately we just didn't have enough in qualifying to get us far enough up to avoid, the things that were happening in the middle of the pack.
All righty, and we continue to watch here. Here's the top 2 doing a little bit of what Chase was talking about, that separation. That battling seemed to die down just a little bit as we had 1, 2, 3 up in the barriers there on the exit of turn number 4. Can't quite get a visual on any carts or names. Hopefully we can have it for you soon. Hopefully everyone is also okay as we have one way up on top of each other. We're going to switch back over to the leaders. Again, so it's Isaac Malkit out in front, Salvador De La Vecchia in P2, Travis Pettit currently holding on to the 3rd spot with Felipe Jesus Benito, who originally started in pole position, running in 4th right behind him. And they get Michael McGoy, Devin Walls, Lucas Palacio. One of the heavy hitters, not as far up in the field as we've seen, as there's a pass on the inside from De La Vecchia onto Isaac Malkit. He is now your new leader. We're going to look about 5.5 laps to go this time by. Yellow flags are still out, so no one's going to be able to pass here coming up into turn 4. No. And it looks like Isaac Malkit is still going to send it along with Pettit. So that's going to be possibly up for review since yellow flags are out into turn 4. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. They may have to just give the spot back, but it's still De La Vecchia now running in the 3rd spot. Now, Chase, there's been a lot of cautions out. How much passing under yellow have you seen? Because we've seen a fair amount of it up here.
Personally, on track, the packs that I've been in with the guys that have been around, there hasn't been much to happen. I think the senior guys are pretty good about it, when they do see the yellows. But it's a costly mistake if you do it. So it'll be interesting to see, if there's anything to happen with Malkiewicz after the checkered flag is dropped.
Yeah, so there's the 2 that did pass under yellow into turn 4. That is Isaac Malkit and Travis Pettit. And that rest of the field continues to bunch up. Looks like 7 in total. Yellows are out coming out of 3. Let's see if anyone tries to pass here again. And again, Isaac Malkit sends it down on the inside of Travis Pettit again coming out of the bull corner up the hill. So I'm not quite sure. We don't have a good camera angle of when the incident is, so maybe after the yellow when they try to make that pass. But we saw the yellow flag out coming out of turn 3, so it'll be interesting to see what the stewards decide to do on that one, or race officials, as they make their way down into turn 8. We're looking at 5 laps to go, 4 to go next time by. Still Malquit, Pettit, and then the third spot of Salvador Della Vecchia is actually losing a couple positions now, as now it looks like maybe that was Michael McGoy got pushed a little wide there coming up the hill, coming down to see 4 more laps to go. And again, it's going to be all about that pack racing. Chase, your driver looks to be Landon Brewer has fallen back into the 11th spots. Looks like maybe battling out in that second pack as Isaac Malkit falls back into the 4th position. So Chase, you said it's been a decent run so far for Landon Brewer. What advice can you give him going into the future after this one?
Yeah, there was just a little bit of some bad decisions that were made when that pack, they started racing each other when they were catching this lead pack. So, it's just working on some more racecraft, better decision making, and when we get a run, we got to go. So unfortunate that I don't think we're going to end up making it up to this first pack. But, these drivers that are in this top pack with the mini guys, I would imagine they're going to start running, the narrow lines coming into 3 to go. It's attack or be attacked here, so it'll be interesting to see how this plans out.
Now, this is your first ever IAME Grands, if I'm not mistaken, they actually competed in. Thoughts so far before going into your pre-final?
I'm just going to put my head down and let Jesus take the wheel in the start, and hopefully we don't get any carnage. And, like I said, we've got everything it takes to finish in the top 5 for this pre-final, so that's the goal. And if we're not, we're just going to keep digging in the final, and hopefully, we can catch that lead back.
All right, and here we go, 2.5 more laps to go. It is Pettit and Della Vecchia going back and forth. Pettit currently has the point right now coming out of the bull. Just behind him, the pole sitter of Felipe Jesus Benito in the 3rd position. Isaac Malkit in 4th. Again, there may be some possible penalties or warnings for passing under yellows. Isaac Malkit now sends it down on the inside of Benito. He now goes back to P3. So now it's going to be Pettit and Della Vecchia leading the way up the hill. They're going to see double sticks up in the air. And as Chase was talking about before, there's probably going to be a whole lot of defensive moves coming up on the inside line heading into turn 1 as they make their way through the final corner. Chase, let's see if you called it perfectly or not. They go down the front straightaway. They have a peek back, and just like that, going down the middle of the track. Oh, maybe not. A little bit of a hip check there from Della Vecchia onto Pettit. He's going to go to the point. And now here comes, it looks like Malkit on the inside out of turn 3. And now they start to go to the middle bottom parts of the track. And Chase, something we've seen too, when they go up in a passing here in 4, they try to go from the middle of the track. Some guys who get a mega run almost dip some wheels off into the grass. How hard is it to time if you're the guy trying to throw the block on of how low you should go?
It's just all timing. When you use the runoff in turn 3, and you've got the lead, you've got to get down as fast as you can and run it in deep into turn 4 to still have the position coming out of the exit. Here again, too, there's been a lot of guys that have been able to make the outside work when the inside row checks up on the bottom. Be interesting to see if, Malkiewicz, being an experienced driver, is going to try to do a move like that as we see Palacio pulling to the inside, making a move for second now.
Yep, white flag is out as Della Vecchia leading. Palacio is now up into P number 2 after starting a little bit farther back in the field. Wasn't up in the front pack as early as we thought he would as they all come out of 3. There goes Della Vecchia on the inside. Isaac Malkit is going to follow Della Vecchia. They're all going to go to the bottom line. A couple in the back of that front pack try to go a little bit farther out wide. Out of turn 4 they come. Toe is going to barely come into effect here as they make their way up the hill. Coming down into that double left-hander. This is one of the last major passing opportunities we can throw a dive bomb. Della Vecchia goes low. Let's see if anyone goes lower. Palacio onto his back bumper. Does he try the crossover? He is actually now under attack from Isaac Malkit in the 3rd spot. Up the hill they go through the final double rights. Let's see if anyone tries to do a crossover coming into the final corner. Della Vecchia goes low. Palacio looks back. He sees Malkit down by about a half a car length. Up into the final corner. Down the hill, a little wide, and it looks like it's going to be Della Vecchia going toe-to-toe with Palacio at the line. Lucas Palacio gets it. The first lap he led was the last one. Barely got it before edging out Salvador Della Vecchia. Isaac Malkit finishes in P3. Travis Pettit in 4th. And Max Christie rounds out your top 5. But again, there may be some penalties under review for passing under yellow for both Isaac Malkit and Travis Pettit. Well, Chase, it's always nice to see someone from the Midwest area, especially a fellow Hoosier, up in the booth, even though we went to opposing colleges. But we still call you family and friends. We'll let you get going because you have to get going on track here soon. So, again, this is Chase Jones up in the booth, one of the KA100 Seniors, who's going to be starting the 14th position in the pre-final. So, Chase, any final thoughts?
Just going to send it. Appreciate
All right.
you guys having me.
There it is. Chase Jones is just going to send it as we're getting strapped up, ready to go with your X30 Juniors coming to you live on Kart Chaser. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
I'm Billy Vincent, owner of MPG Motorsports. What we do at MPG is we try to keep it a nice, fun family atmosphere, try to combine sort of the bigger things and of the bigger teams and the professionalism down with sort of some of the fun sort of family-oriented atmosphere. We try to not only develop drivers, but also the parents and the families for just in knowledge in general in motorsports. It all starts in karting. What we try to do is try to help the drivers, the moms, the dads understand the sport of motorsports in general, not just karting, but what it takes to get all the way up through. Whether you end up wanting to be a driver or a mechanic or an engineer, you know, we can help you with that, and that's what we're here for. If you're interested in joining us at MPG, our home base is at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, and you can contact us at info@willpowerkart.com, and one of our great people will reach out to you, and we'll try to put the best program together.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there. Odenthal Racing Products, your #1 producer in engine mounts since 1992, along with our leading-edge designs and product development, such as the Odenthal Racing Products EasyGP camera mount, which comes in 4 different styles and can be used on any karting platform. To see our products online, go to odenthalracing.com.
Welcome back. Track cleanup is just now about to be underway, so we're about to send out our X30 Junior Pro division here for their pre-final. We are looking now at your front row. That is Caleb Grafera in the 704, starting on pole position. Next to him is going to be his teammate, a fellow RPG and Cosmic Kart of Max Taylor, is going to start on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2, right behind him, is going to be another Rawlison Performance Group of Vanessa Rivera, is set to start in the 3rd position. And outside of him is going to be Enzo Montienne representing Kart Republic right there in position number 4. We go back to the next row. That is Max Garcia on the WPK MPG. We talked to team principal Chase Jones. They've been working out some problems. I think they're set to go here this afternoon in that WPK kart. Next to him is going to be Leonardo Escorpioni, set to go. He has been up in the mix almost all weekend long, right there leading that second pack, but he's starting to bridge the gap between the second and the front row. We go back to P number 7. That is going to be Teddy Musella. He is on another Rollison Performance Kart, Cosmic Kart. You can see him giving us a little bit of a wave. He is going to be starting in the 7th position. Next to him is going to be Hudson Schwartz in that Speed Concept Racing Kart. He is set to roll here in the 8th position. Right behind them, we're going to go to Anthony Martella in that Tony Kart RPM and the 211. He is set to go in the 9th position. And then rounding out your top 10 is going to be Cameron Brinkman here in the 799 Lando Norris livery, as he is now going to be set to go. In total, there are going to be 23 drivers about to take the green here this afternoon for the pre-final. And again, we're going to continue to look down the rest of the starting order of the 23 that are going to be set to go. The way how qualifying works, you have the 3 heat races. That is going to make up of your average of 50% of the total starting order. From the pre-final, that is going to make up the second 50%. We're going to take the average between the two of those, and that is then going to set the field for the feature event. Engines have now fired, and they're about to get underway here. They're going to get 1 lap on track to get the tires and engines up to temperature. Again, these tires have been through a beating all weekend long. They've had heat cycle after heat cycle trying to get them up to temperature now. And let's see if anyone's going to have just enough at the end to try to make a move. It has been mostly Nestor Rivera, Caleb Gaffera, Max Taylor, and Enzo Montian out in front with a little bit of help back there. We've seen Teddy Musella up in the mix along with Leonardo Scorpione as they make their way out of turn 3 now, trying to get those tires up to temperature. And again, they're going to have 1 flying lap before we back them back down to take the green here this afternoon. So they make their way. There's the back half of the field coming into turn 4 now. Up the hill they come. We've seen a little bit of pack racing here. These laps races are a little bit longer than what we've seen in the heat races. This is going to be 18 laps in total for the X30 Junior Pro division. So there's going to be plenty of time. We saw from the X30 Senior class already, it was a breakout of the top 3. A little bit of a back and forth there off of the start with Ryan Norberg out in front. Anacondas in P2 for the start of it was able to back him up just a little bit with Hayden Jones closing up the gap there to put himself up inside the top 3. So we're going to send him around one more time and take the green here this next time by. We read off your top 10. Let's go down the rest of the starting order. Mason Walters is set to start in the 11th position with Jorge Ortiz in 12. Chris Adkin will start in the 13th spot next to Jackson Woolney in 14th. 15th position is going to be Christian Meyer next to Evan Scarborough in the 16th spot. Colton Adkin is set to start 17 next to Wesley Gunler in the 18th position. George Wheeler is set to start 19th next to Kate Rommins in 20th. Liam Kemper will start 21st next to Alejandro Wall in 22nd. And that is going to be Gavin Witt rounding out the 23 karts set to go here. You are watching live on Kart Chaser, the 2022 IAME US Grands East National Championship Division, sponsored by Hunt Brothers Pizza. They're making the way out of the second last corner. That is the pit off that you see just off to the right. That curving has been a little bit of a factor here where some guys may be trying to bounce the kart off coming out of the second last corner and the last corner. Making their way down towards the stripe right now. They get themselves set to go in the tram lines. Heading down to take the green. Your front row of Rivera and Gaffera leading the way. Let's see how this pans out. Eyes are set on the starter. Looks like a good start. Is it going to be good? It is. Green flag is out, and Caleb Gaffera rolls the inside line. He is going to bring with him Max Taylor, and it looks like it's going to be Enzo Montian losing maybe 1 or 2 positions. And now up into the 4th spot is going to be Max Garcia trying to see if he can't split the RPMs.
Yeah, there they go into turn number 4. So it's an RPG 1, 2, 3. Caleb Gaffera leads them over to turn number 5. 18 laps on the boards for the X30 Pro Juniors as well. The first of the 2 KA Senior pre-finals starting to make their way to the grid, and a lot of their drivers also, again, just like many, watching on the fence to see what the racing looks like. What does the track look like right now? You can learn a lot just by really paying close attention to how the carts handle through right there, turn number 9. Are they stuck to the ground? Are they able to lift the rear tire up a lot? Are they sliding at all? All of those can kind of give you, obviously, a little bit of an idea of how their go-kart's handling, but also how the track itself, the grip level, because it changes throughout the course of the weekend. Obviously, on paper, you can tell that we're putting down more and more laps, which means more and more rubber getting put into the racetrack. But at a certain point, that rubber could get a little bit greasy and slippery where it changes from having a lot of grip for the drivers. So, and that also, again, plays into the setup. You get 2 guys who come off with completely different kart setups. One could be fighting a lot of understeer, thinking the track had a lot of grip and they had too much grip in their car. The other one thinking that it didn't have enough and he was slipping and sliding all around. It's always a balance, but you'll see before each session and after each session, but especially before, the drivers in the class to come watching, trying to learn paying attention, and especially for these kids here in the junior classes and below, they watch all the headline senior divisions to learn racecraft as well, following, what works and what doesn't when it comes to winning these last lap battles, because that's what it's going to come down to in a lot of these classes, and it looks like it could be much of the same here in X30 Pro Junior, as Caleb Gaffera not able to get away at the end of lap number 2. Max Taylor's still there. So is Ernesto Rivera. They're going to fight for second into turn number 4. Give that spot to Rivera. Taylor drops back into third. Max Garcia still watching along back in the 4th spot. And a Scorpione, better run than he's had most of this weekend on the Zanella Racing OTK, running in 5th.
So now they make their way out of turn 8. This is one of the big passing opportunities that we've seen. And like you said, Xander, it is a 1-2-3 of Rolison Performance Group of Caleb Gaffera, and then a little bit of a switch there with Rivera up into second, Max Taylor into third. And then you get to Max Garcia in the 4th spot, followed by Leonardo Scorpione. 2 that are not teammates, but may find them working together to try to close back up to the top 3. We're looking at 15 laps to go. Last time by, and Ernesto Rivera went purple. He is going to take the fastest lap of this session so far, and he is now trying to work on the back bumper for his teammate of Caleb Gaffera.
Here they go down the backstretch. Ernesto Rivera now going to look to the lead for a moment, decided not to go, went to the bottom side, pulled back in line. This is the RPG Juniors working together nicely here early on in X30 Pro Junior. We saw a lot of teamwork out of them in that KA Junior pre-final early on as well. It's pulling them away from Max Garcia and Leo Scorpione. Behind them, Enzo Vidmontian on the Motorsport Kart Republic running P6. He's running just ahead of a handful more. Teddy Musella is right there in the 7th spot as Gaffera climbs the hill. And Garcia and Scorpione, like you said, they're just trying to ride at this point, learn a little bit, see where maybe they're getting beat pace-wise to the 3 in front of them, because Rolison Performance Group, they are dialed in here this weekend. Caleb Gaffera, great run up the hill to turn 3 and down the back, 2.5 laps in and counting, 15 to go.
Yeah, so right now the RPGs are starting to pull away as there goes Rivera onto the front of the point. Rivera gets pushed to the high side. He is going to slot into P2 with Max Taylor still in 3rd. And right here, if you're both Garcia and a Scorpione, this is what you like to see. You want the teammates to be going back and forth early on. Bring the race back to them, because if they settle in a little too far, that gap that they have, about 3 car lengths, could continue to grow. As right now we're looking at Caleb Gaffera. He's trying to see if he couldn't get a nose on the inside of Rivera. Up the hill they go. He is going to settle into P2 right on his back bumper.
Up the hill to turn number 11. Here's Enzo Vidmontian with pressure from Teddy Musella. This will be a change for 6. Musella down the inside and clear. He gets by in turn number 11. So Teddy Musella moves up another position, starts to work his way closer towards his teammates up at the front of the field. Again, he gets to learn from all their data, learn from all their video that they've got, and try to improve upon himself and his piece to get a little bit closer towards the front. You can see a lot of the drivers, again, continuing to watch on. I see Chase Hand just to the next side of us. He'll be looking to make up some ground in that KA100 Senior pre-final as the RPG Cosmic drivers. Had an up-and-down week. Overall pretty solid, but not the one that has been the kid to beat. John Burke, highest in the points, will lead the odd pre-final out in a few moments here as they go to turn number 9. Out of the corner and on over to the short chute. Ernesto Rivera pulling away a little bit. 1 car length gap on Caleb Gaffera, and at the same time, Max Garcia and a Scorpione closing back in. Garcia with a really good lap that time by.
Yeah, it looks like Garcia got a good run there out of turn number 8 as they make their way up the hill now. Coming down that little back straightaway into turn 3 they go. But it looks like the maybe the Rolison karts get just a little bit better top end. So it looks like both Garcia and a Scorpione set up to maybe geared for the tighter corners. They close them up in the mid parts of the track, and they get to these long straightaways. That's when the 3 out in front, using the draft to their advantage, starts to pull away. But right now, in the tighter parts of the circuit, you can see Garcia and a Scorpione visually closing back up to the top 3 out in front.
Yeah, they are definitely closing back in. They faded back early on there. It looked like they might have just continued fading back, but they have found a groove, gotten to roll, learned a little bit maybe, and are hitting their marks pretty well. 5 down, 11 laps to go. A lot of time left here as they come onto the front straightaway. Ernesto Rivera continues to lead. Caleb Gaffera, nice shove down to turn 1 to pull the gap a little bit back open.
Yeah, so now he's going to continue to give him a little bit of a push here coming into 3. Slightly starting to fall off the pace there is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, there's a little bit of mess up in the timing right now as we see a pass back. There goes Gaffera right around Rivera, so he's going to go back up to the point now. And again, this back and forth is going to allow the rest of the field to close back up. We're going to sit it down to our very own Kendall Hedge, who has caught up to a few drivers here set to go out in the next KA100 Senior class. Kendall?
Here with Chase Hand, you're rolling out 6 for the pre-final. Obviously, you want to be up a little bit further, but you've been consistent all weekend. But have there been any major changes that you've had to make to your chassis so far to get where you are right now?
Yeah, I mean, we've been fast all weekend. I just made some big driving errors in the heats and the all the heats. Set me back, starting 6th. Very fast all weekend. We're looking strong.
How are you expecting the tire wear? Because you've been using these all sessions. How are you expecting them to play out in this pre-final?
Yeah, this will be 4 races on this set of tires, so they're going to be getting old. It's going to be slick out there, but it shouldn't be too bad.
All right, well, sounds good, and good luck the rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, and back to you guys.
Chase Hand, again, as he said, rolls off 6th. As he mentioned, there was hard on himself. Said, you know what, Kart's been good. A couple driving errors on my end. The KA class has been just an all-out brawl in almost every single heat race, so no surprise to see that being the difference maker from the front row to the further back rows. But their pace matters definitely still a little bit. You got to be able to hit your marks for the couple corners you do get clear racetrack, or you'll continue to get past. 9 to go here this time by 9 in, halfway for the 18-lap pre-final. Caleb Gaffera went back to the lead, and now he's pulling that train at a faster rate than where they were going before. He's opening that gap back up. So Gaffera, Rivera, and Taylor pulling back away from Max Garcia and company. They've got Teddy Musella starting to bear down on him. He's the 4th RPG Cosmic inside the top 6. Might be able to make it a 1, 2, 3, 4 run as he is closed up to the rear bumper of Leo Scorpioni.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Garcia and Scorpioni have it set to come in just a little bit later. Meanwhile, the Rollisons out in front have done a good job as now we look a little bit farther back. It looks like Musella may have a look there on the inside as actually it's a Scorpioni able to get around Max Garcia, so he's not going to go up onto the point. Garcia is going to tuck in behind him as they make a way to burn yet another lap. It's going to be 8 to go at the line.
Here they come down the front straightaway. 8 laps to go, 10 down. Kendall Edge is now caught up with Taryn Odom, the Ryan Perry Motorsports mechanic for most of this year, back behind the wheel on home turf. Kendall?
Here at Taryn Odom, you had a really poor qualifying session, didn't even get a lap. So if you've had to start in the back for every single heat, but you're up here in the top 10, what kind of challenges have you had to go through to get up here?
A few slow drivers, obviously, but I mean, that goes for everything. Just trying to keep my nose clean is really hard, especially starting in the back, you know. But the goal for this one is just go forward, keep the nose clean.
Yeah. On this layout, which one do you prefer, this one or the one we had on yesterday?
This one for sure. I don't like the short one.
All right, well, sounds good and good luck.
Hold on there 1 sec, Kendall. I got one thing here for Taryn. Let me hang on here to Taryn Odom really quickly and talk to him. You mentioned a bad qualifying effort for Taryn. Taryn, you're getting ripped up a little bit on social media, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to provide some clarity. What went down that caused you and your teammate to pound the outside wall on turn 4?
Okay, so pretty much we took some skid plates off, but we forgot to flip the heel stop. So going into 4, I stabbed the brake, and unfortunately my heel got caught behind the heel stop, so I was full lock and went around.
Rough deal there.
Yeah, it sucked, but it's all good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Kendall. Big. I wanted to make sure Taryn got the opportunity to clear the air. He caught up with me earlier on Saturday morning. He said, man, you got to do something. You got to help me out, man. I was doing everything I could. It looked goofy on the camera, but hey, Taryn Odom rolling off at least a little bit better. He's got a good starting spot on the inside of the top 10, and his pre-final could make up a lot of positions here and get himself some more points. As we go 7, now 6 laps to go, Caleb Campera continues to lead.
Yeah, no, they've been pulling away there from that second pack of Leonardo Scorpioni, Max Garcia, and Enzo Montiel. They have fallen ever so slightly off the pace lap after lap, now sitting at about maybe a 2-second deficit between them. Teddy Musella was able to get around both Garcia and Scorpioni, so he is now leading that second 3-pack. But we continue to watch the 3 out in front, being led by Caleb Gaffera, Rivera, and like you said, Max Taylor. He opening it up the throttle right now. He went purple last time by a 48.7 as opposed to Caleb Gaffera's 48.78. Taylor went a 48.72, so about the same time, just a little bit quicker there. Probably used the draft to his advantage as we're looking at about 5 laps to go, maybe about 2 to 3 more laps until we see these top 3 possibly defending the line and making some moves for the lead. Coming down to the stripe, you'll see Porter give the signal. 5 laps to go here for the pre-final for your X30 Junior Pro.
Yeah, 5 laps to go for them as they walk their way on through here. So 5 laps remaining for your X30 Pro Juniors. KA100 Seniors, the first of the 2 pre-finals, getting set to go green here just in a few moments. But with 5 to go, Caleb Gaffera, Ernesto Rivera, Max Taylor, they're going to get the chance to battle it amongst themselves. They've been pretty smart about working together as a team so far this session, and they have not battled too much where they've brought anyone else into it. You can see the group next. Teddy Musella's gotten around both Leo Scorpioni and Max Garcia. They've also got company as Enzo Vidmontien is closing in, so that second pack, single file, but with a difference of colors between all the drivers, so you won't see as much teamwork as you'll see out of the top 3. and that's part of the separation, as well as just the fact that these RPG Junior drivers are on it here this weekend. Caleb Gaffera takes him up the hill to turn 3.
Yeah, so he's going to lead the way here, and let's see. I don't think there's going to be a pass trying to be attempted by Ernesto Rivera, although he's got the momentum. He decides to sit up on the inside. So now Rivera goes to point, and it looks like Taylor's going to try to follow. He is going to slot right in between the two of them, so now that's going to put Taylor up to P2. Rivera, now your leader. Gaffera falls back to 3rd. But I'd say overall that was a fairly clean pass they could have done. Not a whole lot of momentum loss, and they're going to recoup it here with being able to work together on the toe. 3 laps to go with the stripe. If you're in that second group being led by Musella, you need about 4 or 5 more of those per lap to close the gap back up.
Yeah, they're pretty much out of it at this point. 3 laps to go. This is where it's doubly tricky here for the RPG X30 Juniors. We got big contact on the outside wall. The 816, heavy impact there in the Tony Kart, just on the outside edge of the top 10 or 12. That was going to be Mason Walters in the Brandon Jarskak Racing entry, and also problems for Emma Scarborough in the 818. Rawlson Performance Group Cosmic, so Emma Scarborough with an issue, Mason Walters with an issue as well. Both of them heavy contact, and that has taken them out with 2.5 to go. But what I was about to say with Ernesto Rivera, Max Taylor, Caleb Gaffera, not only are they probably going to line up alongside each other in the main event, so they don't want to rough each other up too much in the main event, but they got to go spend the next couple hours in the same team tent, next door to each other, pitted next to each other, and coaching each other and learning from each other as well. So you don't want to rough up your teammates. You don't want to rough the guys that are going to start near you in that main event. And we're going to see how rough they might get. 2 to go. What does Taylor do? He stays behind.
So yeah, he's going to look here possibly for a pass here coming out of turn number 3 heading into 4. Doesn't defend the inside line of your leader right now as they make their way through. Again, that is Rivera out in front. No challenge from behind heading into 3. And now 4 as they make their way towards the top of the hill. The only other opportunity I could see is possibly wanting to turn 8, but maybe going even the longer-term game here and waiting till the final lap before they start defending or passing. Out of 7 they come into turn 8. No defensive there. He doesn't even look back. Your leader, Ernesto Rivera, continues to pull him out of the hill.
Yeah, nice run on out for Ernesto Rivera as they head on over to turn number 9. Here they come out of 9 over towards the short chute up the hill. Max Taylor taking his time, deciding when he wants to make the move for the lead. He's going to have to catch him by surprise because when the white flag waves, you would think Ernesto Rivera would start to defend. Here they go down to 1. Taylor got low before Rivera could block it, and he's got the lead. And here comes Caleb Gaffera up for second. Side by side up the hill. He backs out. Taylor, good move, keeps the pass clean, gets the lead down to turn number 4.
So now he's going to defend just a little bit heading into 4 now. He's going to back up that field, and it looks like Taylor is there on his back bumper of your leader of Rivera's to make their way down the hill now through the double left-handers. He gets a little loose, gets into his back bumper just a little bit. He's not quite close enough. He can dive bomb it if an extreme happens, but Rivera's going to defend coming into turn 8.
Yeah, now Max Taylor has control of the race. He'll take them out at turn number 8. They're side by side with Caleb Gaffera for second. That's great news for Taylor. They're all stacked up. He's got a car length lead. Gaffera still applying pressure to Ernesto Rivera up to the hill. Final turn. Taylor blocks low, holds the lead. Side by side for second. Max Taylor wins the pre-final in X30 Junior. Rivera second. Gaffera third. Close there at the line. And we go through the rest of your top 10. Teddy Musella ends up in 4th. Enzo Vidmonti in 5th. Max Garcia 6th. Escorpione fades to 7th. Cameron Brinkman 8th. Anthony Martella 9th. And Hudson Schwartz rounds your top 10 for X30 Junior. KA100 Senior is on the grid here. Let's switch over to it and take a look. Alex Stanfield in the 906 Team GWR Tony Kart will roll off to the inside of the B pre-final here alongside Christian Miles. Both drivers have won a heat race here this weekend. Christian Miles has had a solid run through as well, and they both were in that KA shootout presented by CNC Performance Engineering going for $5,000 Friday evening. They're lined up on the front row here. Aiden Levy also made it into the shootout. He's been quiet this week. He's been good. Top 10 driver every single heat race. He rolls off third on the inside of row number 2. To his outside, the 922 Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart of Jeremy Fletcher. Throughout the week, he said, it's kind of been just a weekend to forget. Not the best weekend, unfortunately, for Team 922. But Jeremy Fletcher rolls off fourth. He can fight from there. He's done it from further back in the field. Way further back to be exact. Tyler Wettengel in that Speed Concepts Racing Red Speed, his return to the national scene here this year, and pitting out with the SCR gang. He has been pretty solid here this weekend. Rolls off in 5th. To his outside, Chase Hand talked to him, said it's just driving errors at this point. If he can put it together, he feels like he's got a piece that can compete for the race win. Rolls off 6th on the outside of row number 3. Row 4, Weston Workman man, has he had a weekend here. Lots of speed, but overall he's been marred a little bit in carnage, and a lot of it not of his own doing. He rolls off 7th here. Talked with Tim Shutt, his team owner, earlier this morning, said, if we can just get out of there, get to the top 4 spots, start inside the top 10, we got a shot at it, but we got to be able to start good. We got to have a good pre-final. Connor Zilish as well, same boat, P8 for the team GWR number 72. Won $5,000 in the KA class already, trying to add on to that purse money with the main event grabs here today. He rolls off 8th on the outside of row number 4, and the rest of the field is just about locked and loaded. There's Taron Odom on that Ryan Perry Motorsports Tony Kart to the inside of row 5. Again, we chatted with him. He's been having to come through the field in his heat races. Rolls off there in 9th. To his outside, Finnegan Bailiff. Again, like Workman, some bad luck in that shootout Friday night, but at least he made it on in. He rolls off in the 10th spot. Some work to be done for the Team Green machine. The Trinity Karting Group number 949 will complete your top 10, and the rest of the pack on through. Connor Ferris, Elliott Cox, and more, all getting set to do battle. It all comes up right after the break, live here on Kart Chaser, the IAME USA Grand National Championship presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. KA Senior up next.
Massive turnouts, world-class venues, and an awesome family-friendly atmosphere. All of these and more are pillars of the U.S. Pro Kart Series, which is gearing up for its biggest season yet in 2023. Orlando, Houston, Newcastle, Cincinnati, and Mooresville. Welcome to the top level of North American karting. Welcome to the U.S. Pro Kart Series.
How you doing? My name is Mike Doty from Mike Doty Racing from Orange County, New York. We're about an hour north of New York City. We're a full-service kart shop that we supply IAME, Rotax, and all rock engines. We sell OTK parts and all the tires for all the different series. We support USPKS, SCUSA, Rotax, which is the Stars and Stripes, and the Rock Winter Tour. What we do is we try to get the drivers better by data, driver coaching, and setup. We have a lot of good drivers that come through our program. We have a lot of experience. I've been doing it for almost 35 years, and we just try to translate that to all our customers.
For more info about Mike Doty Racing, you can contact us at mikedotyracing@gmail.com or call us at 845-551-0572.
Karting is one of the most intense forms of motorsport, and if you manage a racetrack or commercial facility, you know how hard it is to find good help. Let us introduce to you our newest track safety product, the 4-flag light system from Pixelcom. Pixelcom products are incredibly affordable, and our plug-and-play system makes the only requirements lights and a wireless remote. The ability to upgrade your system with intuitive software and additional products makes this the perfect system for tracks of all sizes. Communicating with drivers on track will make your program run more smoothly and, most importantly, increase safety dramatically once deployed. Find us online today at tracksystemsna.com and let us elevate your motorsport.
IAME USA Grand National Championship presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. We're set to go here for pre-final B for KA100 Senior. The odd number of drivers in the point standings, Alex Stanfield and his team GWR Tony Kart They are second in the overall points behind Ryan Perry Motorsports' John Burke. So that puts him on the point here for this even pre-final. Now, this does not work like a normal odd and even pre-final would work, where the finishers here would set the outside lane starting order for the main. No, not at all. The even pre-final is strictly still only 50% of the starting grid for the main. The rest will be the heats and the qualifying points they've already done. So Alex Stanfield could finish third or fourth. He still might have a shot at starting on the front row for the final here later on today. But Christian Miles, everyone else, Aiden Levy, Jeremy Fletcher, Tyler Wettengel, points he made up to catch Stanfield, to catch John Burke. Here they go into the tram lanes, looking for the green flag on the first try by. 26 drivers for the KA Senior pre-final, looking to go green. Here we go down to turn number 1. Miles knows that a little bit. Stanfield has the upper edge. He gets the jump down to 1. Miles on the outside. He'll lose second. Quick jump for Aiden Levy up to P2. And right off the bat, Christian Miles tries to throw the nose on the inside of Levy. Can't quite do it. Now he's got Jeremy Fletcher fighting him into 4. Fletcher sends it on the inside, takes away the third spot. And a quick lesson there for Christian Miles, trying to be aggressive early for P3. P2 ultimately ends up losing the third spot. He falls back to 4th, and a good start for the top 2 thanks to that battle. So Fletcher up to 3rd into the hairpin for the first time. It is Stanfield, Levy, Fletcher, Miles into P5, Tyler Wettengel, and a mad dash all behind them. Lots of chaos, lots of passing. 2 and 3 wide for the top 10 on back.
Yeah, Fletcher having a much better day today than he has had previously. Horrible luck that he had on the shootout for the K100 on Saturday, but now he finds himself up in the 3rd spot, trying to see if he can't force the issue. Impossible mistake of the top 2 out in front of Stanfield and Levy as they work their way through a little bit of separation. It looks like now Fletcher has lost 1 position. He goes back into 4th. It is now Christian Miles up in the 3rd spot.
So Christian Miles getting back around Jeremy Fletcher there, trying to hunt back up to Aiden Levy and Alex Stanfield out front. Not really a 2-car breakaway, so the pack will have a shot to run them back down. Levy's going to be the first one in the targets here as Christian Miles, great run in the infield. He's closing into the privateer Alonso car driver headed to turn number 8. And Elliott Cox, late move there. Whoa, down the inside on Taron Odom. Gets the job done there in the MPG Motorsports Will Power Kart.
Yeah, so that's going to push Elliott Cox up inside the top 10. Connor Zilich, also on the mover, has gone up into 7th. Weston Workman up into 6th. So a little bit, not a whole lot of passing back and forth here inside the top 10. But as you said, Xander, they're slowly about to bunch their way back up as here goes Workman down on the inside. He is going to get around Wettengel. Gets a little bit of a bump there coming up the hill. Connor Zilich thinking to follow, heading into turn 3.
The meatball flag's already flying for one driver further down the orders from all that contact. Must have had a mechanical issue as they head down to turn 4. Wettengel loses another spot. Zilich gets by. Connor Zilich now up to 6th. Weston Workman up to 5th. Hunting down the leaders here as they go on through. Aiden Levy's been shuffled back to the 3rd spot. Christian Miles still 2nd. And Jeremy Fletcher in 4th while Alex Stanfield leads them out of turn number 8.
So up the hill they go. They're going to go through this quick little short shoot for going on the back straightaway. It's still point to Alex Stanfield out in front. You can see right just in front of Aiden Levy, Christian Miles up into P2, up on the wheel, trying to see if he can get as much of a toe as he can off the top. The wind is starting to pick up down this main straightaway, so the draft is going to come into more effect.
Big contact
two
here.
Turned around.
Lots of drivers turn. Tyler Wettengel goes around. Odom goes around. Multiple drivers over here in the final corner get turned. And right in front of the field as well. Heavy contact, so that's going to separate the top 6. And Colin Hayes, I think, collected as well. One of the Nitro drivers, at least, not sure which one, came across the line there. It might have been Andrew Chapman was collected. I think Grayson Upchurch also involved. So big contact there, taking Tyler Wettengel down the order, taking Taron Odom out as well. And we go up front. Alex Stanfield, Christian Miles, Jeremy Fletcher, Aiden Levy, Connor Zilich, Weston Workman. That's your top 6.
Yeah, you got 2 very experienced drivers who haven't been in the seat a lot this year. Both Workman along with Zilich are slowly about to make their way up into that pack. It's going to be the old young guns against the modern young guns making their way down into turn 1. Stanfield continues to lead them, but that gap continues to dwindle in size between the top 6 as they're slowly but surely making their way to bunch back up for a nice little pack race.
Here they go down to turn number 4 into the bull corner here. Let's see what Christian Miles does. He knows the pack is close, but he's also spent a lot of his time so far in the KA Senior class working nicely with Alex Stanfield pushing away from the field. He'll have a shot at him if he wants it. Turn 8 this time. Here he goes. Christian Miles to the lead down in turn 8. Stanfield runs wide. Fletcher to the outside. He'll get through to 2nd. and Stanfield lets him go. He drops back into third.
Yeah, so right now you're about to see it basically all break loose inside the top. Miles back up to point. Fletcher's been quick all race long. Now really starting to tow him in. Coming out of that final corner, down this long straightaway they go. Let's see if Fletcher's got him into one. He's closing up to him, but he's going to put it straight to the back bumper. Stanfield able to recover, but now he's got Connor Zilich breathing down his neck, heading out of 3.
Yeah, Zilich closing in here in 4th already. Got around Workman, trying to maybe add a little more points onto him. He's got a good shot at this heat race here. We're still very early on as Fletcher loses 2nd. Stanfield gets by him in turn 5. Nice move by Alex Stanfield with a big run. Went with it. Here comes Zilich to the bumper of Fletcher. Fletcher knew it was coming, tried to block it, couldn't do it. Connor Zilich down the inside takes over P3.
Yeah, Workman thought about trying to possibly get his nose in there too. He thought better of it. Gets behind Fletcher now, so it's a 2-pack out in front of Miles, followed by Stanfield. Then he gets to Connor Zilich, one of the highest we've seen him in the heat races. Now the pre-finals back there in the screen. Fletcher lost another spot to Workman, down across the line. Here comes Stanfield on it. Maybe he's going to take it away.
Alex Stanfield, your new leader, up the hill to turn number 3. Christian Miles on the bumper. Here comes Connor Zilich. Does he go on Christian Miles in turn 4? He does not yet. And Aiden Levy had a little look there on Jeremy Fletcher, ultimately didn't go. Back in 6th as they go through turn number 5.
So they now make their way through the quick little double left-hander coming down on this hairpin. Let's see if there's any defending here from your leader of Stanfield. He knows they're close. Here comes Zilich on the inside of Miles. He takes it away, slots himself into P2, and it looks like Workman again. He's just trailing off whatever Zilich does. They've come from about the same parts of the field on the starting position. They've just been picking them off one at a time.
Connor Zilich, a little bobble in turn number 9 there. Lost some ground to race leader Alex Stanfield, and now Christian Miles gets thrown to the wolves as Weston Workman goes by him for the 3rd spot. Workman up. Miles back. Levy again can't do it. Miles answers on Workman, goes back in turn 1.
So they now make their way out of turn 2. Now the point is going to go to Stanfield, about 2 or 3 car lengths in front. But now he's got one of the most veteran drivers in this K100 class. Connor Zilich is on the 2nd spot. But let's see if Christian Miles is going to say anything about it. He is closed up to him. He's got Workman behind him. Workman has been fast, but he's also been very smart and consistent about it. He saw that Miles is going to make the move, let him have it to get straight back into line. No one defends heading into 8.
Look at Christian Miles. Oh, my goodness. He nearly cleans out Connor Zilich, locking the brakes up to get by him. Workman gets through. Zilich back to 4th. Miles getting his elbows up, and Alex Stanfield now gets a big-time lead.
Yeah, this is good news for Stanfield. He might be able to walk away from the drafting spot if they continue to go back and forth here, second on back. So it's now Miles into P2. Across the stripe, 9 laps to go. We are halfway, and there you can see Workman up into P3. Got his head down, trying to work the toe. Zilich is now able to recover after getting ran a little wide there out of 8. He's working off the toe of Workman.
So down the backstretch here, little adjustment on the carburetor for Jeremy Fletcher as he's fallen to the back of this 6-car train. Aiden Levy there into 6th, into 5th, running ahead of Fletcher. Elliott Cox has now worked his way up 5 spots to the 7th position. Chase Hand running in 8th. Nick Terlecki's up 8 spots to 9th. Finnegan Bailiff 10th. Down to turn number 8 here, Christian Miles still hanging on over Weston Workman as they try to close back up to Alex Stanfield. Let's see what the times look like this time by. Last time was dead even from Stanfield back to Miles. This time might be a little bit closer up the hill, down the front stretch. 8 to go, 9 in it looks like you're now. So 17 laps for the KA Seniors, and give the advantage to the pack behind Christian Miles, Weston Workman, Connor Zilich, 2 to 3/10 better than the race leader Alex Stanfield. They're coming.
Yeah, Zilich on the back bumper of Workman. I don't think he's going to pass him at all. He's just trying to push Workman up to the front right now. Workman was doing the same for him when it was Zilich out in front, but due to the Zilich getting ran just a little bit wide, he falls back behind Workman. Those two now catching up to Christian Miles. I think Workman might work with Miles a little bit here, not try to pass him, but close back up to Stanfield and then try to make the move. He knows that Christian Miles has been aggressive, so he can just get him up to the point of Stanfield, let him do the work, and they could be able to capitalize off of that once they bobble their momentum.
So here they go, Christian Miles, 1 car length back from Alex Stanfield as they go up the hill to the final corner, side by side for 3rd. Zilich gets by on Weston Workman. Connor Zilich back to P3. Workman says, all right, I'll work with you, fine, let's go. Through turn number 1, they try to hunt back up to Christian Miles as Alex Stanfield continues to lead. 7 laps to go, 10 down. Stanfield lost 3/10 to Miles last time by.
So there's more hand signals there from Connor Zilich onto Weston Workman. as they make their way up the hill now. Miles has caught up to the back bumper Stanfield. He's been aggressive all pre-final. Let's see if he tries it here coming into 8. Down the hill through 7. Does he pop down now? Stays on the back bumper. Doesn't try it late. Continues to give a little bit of a push there to Stanfield, but just like that, Workman and Zilich close it up even more so. Workman giving a huge push to Zilich as they make their way out of turn number 9.
Out of turn number 9 here, Alex Stanfield still up the hill. Christian Miles right behind him there as they go down the front straightaway. Miles happy to push him so far. Connor Zilich that time goes a little bit quicker, closes up. Workman's coming. Aiden Levy fading. He just lost 5th to Jeremy Fletcher there at the bottom of the screen. So Jeremy Fletcher finding some new life here, trying to hunt back to the top 4 as Alex Stanfield takes him to the bowl.
So now you can almost say that they're nose to tail, maybe just a little bit of separation there between Connor Zilich and Christian Miles running in 2nd and 3rd respectively as they come down the hill again into the hairpin. This is where Miles likes to try it late, but now it's going to be Zilich trying on the inside. Oh, runs him a little wide, and that is now going to allow Workman to do a 2-for-1. He goes up into 2nd. Zilich slots into 3rd.
That was a little thank you very much for that move a couple laps ago, Christian, from Connor. The message being delivered by Connor Zilich, and he wanted to make sure that Christian Miles paid for that move that he made that sent them back and put them on the back foot. So Connor Zilich gives it right back to him, all clean, all hard, and a lesson learned for Christian Miles. If you want to do an aggressive move, you better be ready to run and able to run. Connor Zilich gives it right back, says, you won't do that to me and get away with it. Down to turn 4, Weston Workman now in a great spot, up to 2nd, highest he's been all session. 5 laps to go, and he's got the leader right in front of him.
Workman has been one of the most patient drivers so far in this pre-final, making his way up to the top 2 along with Connor Zilich. These two have a lot of experience here at GoPro, calling this track their home. Haven't been on the national circuit when it comes to car racing, but have been running in cars. So look for these two now that Connor Zilich is edging his way back up to be a little bit patient here. They do have 4 laps, so it's going to come down to it. But again, Alex Stanfield, he knows how to win out in front. He also knows how to defend. This is going to be a nice little 3-way battle for the lead here as we're approaching 4 laps to go.
Yeah, here they go down the front stretch. 4 laps remaining. Weston Workman, Alex Stanfield, Connor Zilich. Christian Miles from that move is now a 0.6 of a second difference back from the top 3. He's got to close back up and hope for some passing up at the front. Workman not going to do that. Yes, he will. To the lead, Weston Workman, and the Timmy Tech Comp Kart takes over. Alex Stanfield back to 2nd.
Connor Zilich now seeing the passing out in front, using that to his advantage. He is now edging in to the top 2. Christian Miles still in that 2nd pack. Right behind him, I think, is Jeremy Fletcher. It is, followed by Levy. So that 3 is going to have to try to do whatever they can to catch back up. But here are 3 laps to go. Look for the top 3 to start defending here soon.
Here they go through turn number 9. Out of the corner, on the way up the hill towards the last turn. Weston Workman, your leader. Alex Stanfield 2nd. Connor Zilich 3rd. 3 drivers together. 3 laps to go. Connor Zilich and Alex Stanfield teammates here, whereas Weston Workman's all by his lonesome in that Timmy Tech Comp Kart. A sea of OTKs around him inside the top 5. What does he do here with 3 to go? Does he leave the door open? He does. Here comes Stanfield. Here comes Zilich as well, but Workman tries to close the door. Zilich ultimately gets it done, gets into 2nd, and Alex Stanfield and Connor Zilich now a GWR 1-2.
And right there, now coming into field of view, Christian Miles bringing Fletcher and Levy with them. They're about 2 kart lengths behind your 3rd placeman of Weston Workman, but they're right there. I don't think that Zilich and Stanfield are going to go back and forth too much, maybe a pass or 2, maybe a defensive on the last lap, but the only thing that's going to come down to is can Workman try to stir the pot just a little bit, maybe break up the duo. As this time by, they're going to see 2 flags up in the air. 2 laps to go for your top 3 heading down into turn number 1. Workman up on the wheel, had his head down to the tuck, trying to make it as aerodynamic as possible. Let's see if Stanfield defends. He does not. Fletcher continues to give him a push. Now does he try it into 4? Zilich looks back, gives a push to his teammate, doesn't try to make a pass.
Not going to make the job done there. So Connor Zilich waiting to make his bid for the lead. Weston Workman following there in 3rd. Christian Miles, maybe he thinks he'd like to get back to Connor Zilich's rear bumper here. He's going to have a chance at it depending how these last 2 laps unfold. White flag coming, 1 lap to go. Alex Stanfield would get maximum points here in the pre-final. It might put him to the pole position for the main event if John Burt can't win this next pre-main. Up the hill, final turn, white flag coming, 1 lap to go. Alex Stanfield sees a train of go-karts behind him. What does he do on the front stretch? He leaves the door wide open. Connor Zilich gets through. Workman is not close enough. Stanfield is 2nd.
So Stanfield falls back. Workman is not going to try to force the issue. He's tuned the long-term game here. They both go the inside to defend. Zilic and Stanfield. It looks like Workman trying the outside line. Here comes Miles on the inside. He's trying to muscle his way back through, and it looks like Workman is not going to let him have it. It is still Zilic out in front, Stanfield P2, and here comes the rest of the train right behind Workman.
Great run out of turn 6 for Connor Zilic. He's going to go normal now. He tries to hang on, and there's contact. The teammates get together. Weston Workman to the lead. Here comes Christian Miles into third. Connor Zilic all the way back to fifth. Left the door open. And now out of turn number 9, Weston Workman's got a 2-car length gap. Workman from 7th just needed a good starting spot. He's got a great one. He wins the pre-final B for KA Senior. Alex Stanfield ends up in second again. Connor Zilic all the way back to fifth there at the end. Christian Miles and Jeremy Fletcher both slip by him there, third and fourth. Finnegan Bailiff closing up, and he gets through the field at the very end to 7th, right behind Aiden Levy. Nicholas Terlecki, his drive forward ends in 8th. 9 spots gained. Elliot Cox down in 9th. Connor Ferris rounds the top 10. And work to be done here for Taryn Odom and Tyler Wettengel. 2 collected there in that issue, unfortunately out of the final corner. Grayson Upchurch, Andrew Chapman also DNFs in the pre-final. Now we switch over. KA Senior, pre-final A, first and third, and the points coming in. John Burrick on the inside, and the Ryan Berry Motorsport Tony Kart, Hayden Jones, and the Rawls Performance Group Cosmic. They're ready to go right here. Up next from Mooresville, North Carolina, you're watching the IAME USA Grand National Championship, presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. USA. Well, we've caught up with Weston Workman. He evaded all kinds of chaos on that final lap, and he is down here with Kendall.
Down here with Weston Workman. It hasn't been a perfect weekend for you, but you finally pulled off the win in the pre-final. What was going on in your head going to the 2 to go?
I just knew I needed to get to the front. After a pretty bad qualifying, I was just on the back foot all weekend trying to make my way up through the heats, and I had a pretty bad last heat, and that kind of set me back starting the pre-final, so I just knew I had to get to the front. Me and Connor have been working really well together all weekend, and me and him got connected together. He started right on the outside of me, and we just made our way to the front. And then I got a little nervous on the last lap because I know him and Alex are teammates, so I thought they're going to work together. But Connor went for a, I don't know who it was. It was either Alex or Connor. One of them went for a late lunge. I get confused with the Tony Karts. But, yeah, one of them went for a late lunge, and I was able to get under both of them and came out with the win.
Yeah, no, that was a pretty aggressive race between the top, like, I think it was 6. Are you expecting the same level of aggression coming into the final?
Yeah, I definitely am. There's a lot of good drivers here, and I just got to keep my elbows out and keep my nose clean, and hopefully we have a good final race.
All right, well, sounds good, and good luck, Weston.
Thank you.
Thank you, and back to you guys.
Thank you, Kendall. Congratulations to Weston Workman, a win in the pre-final Group B. The KA100 shootout, he got in on a promoter pick. and he didn't have the best of luck when it came down to it. There's a little bit of an incident with him out in front. He was one of the top contenders, but unfortunately was not able to put it in the final show. Now he has gotten the win in pre-final B as we are getting set to go with pre-final A underway. Here's your top-down drone footage of this beautiful track here this afternoon as they're making the way around to get a couple warm-up laps. You can see them zipping by the start-finish straight with that GoPro Motorplex painted down on the start-finish line. And again, this is going to be two groups split up. So the top two that we're going to keep an eye out, John Burke, he is set for the provisional pole as of now. If he can just keep it clean and stay perfect and get a win here this afternoon. Hayden Jones didn't have the best of luck in qualifying, was able to drive his way up towards the front. Paulie Massimino, a hometown boy, finding himself up into P3. He's trying to see if maybe he can have better luck today than he did during the X30 shootout and see if he can't come away with here one in the pre-final. Josh Oates in P4, Austin Jers, Lucas Zabo, Jake Walker, Vinny Muskelis, Adam Brickley, and G3 Argyros will round out your top 10 for pre-final A. We got the field set, and they're slowing it down to about a snail's crawl. He's about to make their way into the tram lines again. You are not allowed to scrub your tires once you get into it. As clouds have come in, the wind has picked up just a little bit. It cooled off during that last pre-final at the KA100. And let's see how this is going to be. The last pre-final before we go to features here at the IAME Grands, second edition, sponsored by Hunt Brothers Pizza. Green flag, let's look for it. It is green heading down into turn one. It looks like that's a good challenge there from Hayden Jones on the outside line. John Burke able to pull away from the pull, and he is going to maintain that. And I think maybe Massimino is able to slide into P2. He is going to take it all the way down to the grass as they go door to door heading into turn number 4.
What a pass by Paulie Massimino. He means business. Hayden Jones able to follow. John Burke quickly back to P3. They're single file up at the front. Big crash back in turn number 5 and 6. Got about 6 of them stacked up over there. 5 cars all collected. A number involved. Henry Wheeler's involved. Looks like a couple of comp carts as well. Travis Varney's involved. They're all trying to get dislodged so they can get back into the showing here. As the leaders exit turn 9, Massimino still shows the way over John Burke in third. Hayden Jones in second. Josh Oates under fire for fourth. Look at that. That is going to be maybe Lucas Zabo on the inside. Down the front stretch here. Indeed.
Yeah, so Zabo now goes up in the third spot. Now he is going to try to see if he can't follow in the fourth spot. He is going to try to follow John Burke, who is putting the pressure on to Paulie Massimino, who is falling back into second. Hayden Jones is out in front, defends that inside line, and we are very early on in this race. It looks like there's a couple of back markers due to the incident out in front, so they will give them the black flag if it gets a little bit too close to him and pull him off early. But a nice train of carts that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 deep. And now Massimino defending off John Burke. Burke almost pops 2 wheels up on the curbing. He goes up to P2. Here comes Holtz on the inside of Massimino. They still go door to door up the hill, and it looks like Massimino's going to have to yield. That is now going to be Holtz up in the third spot right behind Burke. Holtz, we haven't really seen a lot of this weekend. He's been up there inside the top 10, closer to the top 5. He now runs third as Massimino is still under fire, holding that inside line on Zabo. And now it is going to be Massimino going back up into the fourth spot. So now it's going to be Jones, Burke, 1 and 2. But Burke now under fire from Josh Holtz, heading up into turn 4. Holtz tried it. He is going to follow through. They were side by side from behind. Massimino falls back into P5. Lucas Zabo maintains that fourth spot as they make their way down the hill. As they make their way through the double left-hander coming into turn 7, followed by the hairpin at turn 8. Does anyone defend? It looks like they all stay in line a little bit farther back, as it looks like I think that was possibly, if not mistaken, I think that may have been Aiden getting under a little bit of fire there, but it looks like he is going to get it back underway. They're still going door-to-door contact there from the drone shot. As they make their way up to the final hill, here comes Holtz under fire yet again. He is going to lose one position to Lucas Zabo. Now puts himself up into P3. Actually, that was Adam Brickley goes up into P3. He now gets himself up into the mix. And actually, Zabo has fallen back a little bit into the 6th spot. So now Hayden Jones out in front, about 4 or 5 cart lengths over Burke in P2. Right behind him is now Adam Brickley. Went purple last lap, so he is the fastest cart on track. Finds himself in the 3rd position. Josh Holtz is now falling under fire from Massimino in company. Behind him is Lucas Zabo, who is slotted into the 6th spot. Here comes down the end spot, Brickley for 2nd, and now John Burke goes to his back bumper. Let's see if he can close the gap back down to Hayden Jones. We are about a handful of laps in. It's going to be 13 to go at the line And there's a separation between your 6th placement of Lucas Zabo and the 7th, leading the rest of the field, of Jake Walker. Right behind him, Chase Jones, after starting at 14th, finds himself up into P6. Mike McAndrews up in the 9th, and Oliver Calvo rounding out your top 10. There's a shot of the front pack making the way out of turn 3. Jones followed by Brickley and then Burke. That's 1, 2, 3. Massimino off there in 4th. Josh Holtz running in the 5th spot, I think is actually now fallen down into 6th, with Lucas Zabo moving up one more position as they make their way through that quick little chicane, coming through the double left-hander. Coming down into turn 8, Brickley's been close. Is this close enough? He's on the brakes, tries it late. He gets around. Jones now, up and over goes Burke.
Oh, my goodness. John Burke, Hayden Jones, both together, and Jones is out. The 916 RPG Cosmic is done.
So, yeah, that's going to push Burke way down the order. Looks like Burke just ran over his right rear and caused him to pop up in the air. That's not going to give 2nd place to Paulie Massimino. Adam Brickley now gifted a huge gift, as he now has about maybe a 7 or 8 car length advantage over the rest of the field coming out of turn 3. Massimino now about to be under attack here from Lucas Zabo. Josh Holtz not too far back.
So Josh Holtz has been able to avoid a lot of chaos. I wouldn't pin Josh Holtz as one of the fastest cars this week, but he has been able to keep his nose clean and run inside the top 5. He's got a decent run going here behind Zabo and Massimino, and it's a big-time lead for Adam Brickley as they try to run up to the Kart Republic driver. Staying out of trouble for Adam Brickley also has put him in the top 5 in both classes. Super impressive stuff here for Adam Brickley at his home race, and really one of the few national starts he has made in 2022.
Yeah, so Brickley leads out in front, and then we got to see the battle for second. Again, that's Massimino, Zabo, followed by Holtz, who's been consistent. Here comes Zabo on the inside. Massimino gives it to him, and he's going to go straight to his back bumper. He knows they got to close the gap back down. Holtz is being very smart and just letting these two go back and forth in front of him, staying in the wake of it. And then behind, there's another intense battle. Chase Jones trying it up on the inside, trying to see if he can't get around John Burke, and I think he'll take the spot away as they make their way through. Maybe Burke got a little bit loose there. That happened off camera, but he is now going to fall back a position or two, and actually it was Burke able to pass back on Chase Jones. Through turn 8 they go. There's the gap between the leader and your 2nd placeman of Lucas Zabo, followed by Massimino. Josh Holtz has a peek back. He sees that train of karts slowly closing up to him, but the 2nd and 3rd placement of Massimino and Zabo have to stay clean right now if they want to close down the 1.1 second deficit they have to Adam Brickley out in front. We're going to put one more lap in the books, 10 to go at the line. There's Zabo giving a little bit of a hand signal to Massimino. Massimino says, all right, I'll push you, but you got to keep this one fast if you want to close it back down. It was at a 1.1 that last lap due to the pass to get Zabo back around. Massimino went to a 1.3, so look for next lap for it to close back down. Although poor news for the top 2, they got more company on the way. John Burke pulls Chase Jones, followed by Mike McAndrews and Oliver Clavo, trying to see if they can't make it about a 9 or 8 kart length tango for that 4th position. As now we continue to watch Zabo followed by Massimino, then Holtz. Holtz is about to be under fire here soon from John Burke, followed by Chase Jones. Jones giving a little bit of a push, and now that is Burke on the back bumper of Holtz as they make their way up the hill. 9 laps to go this time by. Holtz get pushed a little bit wide, and now that is going to be John Burke back up into the 4th spot. Holtz goes to his back bumper. Chase Jones give a little push there too as Massimino goes by for 2nd. So now count Massimino up into P2. Zabo back to 3. Out of turn 3 they come. It is going to be a close 5-car battle. Here comes Chase Jones on the inside of Josh Holtz. Holtz a little bit fighty there in the entry of turn 4. Gives it to him at the end. Chase Jones having a much better day than yesterday. Finds himself up in the 5th spot right behind John Burke, who is now trying to challenge Massimino and Lucas Zabo as they make their way down into turn 8 yet again.
So impressive that Adam Brickley is able right now to walk away from these drivers here. I mean, he is pulling away, and Massimino's led this train for a couple of laps now. Adam Brickley on rails on that Kart Republic as they head down the front stretch here. You can see Massimino having the pack fight behind him. There's Burke around his teammate in Zabo. Chase Jones trying to go side by side with Zabo down to turn 1. He'll keep it on the inside, gets through for P3. Zabo back to 4th, Holtz 5th. Mike McAndrews aboard the Fullerton. He had a terrible final practice on Friday afternoon. Put him on the back burner all week long here. He's been trying to make up for that qualifying effort that he did the best he could, quickest in his group. And since then, decent heat races, marred in the midfield, now in the works of a really, really solid pre-final inside the top 10.
Yeah, so now we're going to switch back over. Here's Chase Jones on the inside of Zabo, or actually, no, sorry, that is
was
John
Burke.
Burke. So he now tries on the inside of John Burke. Burke throws his hand up in the air, and right behind Chase Jones is Szabo. So look for possibly Chase Jones. I think he's getting a little frustrated there with Burke. He's trying to give him a little bit of a push to catch back up to Massimino. Meanwhile, Massimino has not been able to close down on the deficit between himself and Adam Brickley. It's at a 1.7 last time by. Now it is at a 2-second gap. So this is all going to come down to who can battle it out for the second spot. Jones continues to follow behind Burke. Burke and Jones have closed back up to Massimino. Massimino looks back. Does he defend? Takes a normal line. No challenge from Burke or Jones. Jones giving a huge push to John Burke as they make their way up the hill. Through the quick little chicane, followed by the double left-hander. They both get about a wheel up in the air. Coming down to that concrete patch. Again, no barrier, so they're allowed to use that full runoff as they make their way down into turn 8. Here comes on the inside. Burke tries it. Jones tries to follow. Massimino gets a little wide. Massimino's going to settle in right behind Jones, although he's trying to challenge back. That's Jones to the outside line. Massimino now going to slot back in behind Jones, and now he has got Lucas Szabo behind him. A little adjustment to the carburetor there for Massimino. Szabo sends on the inside. Szabo moves up one spot. Massimino down 2, almost 3 positions. As behind them, they go side by side with McAndrews and Josh Hote heading into turn 1. And now we see Chase Jones pushing John Burke, and they are at a 2.6 second gap between themselves and Adam Brickley out in front. So they're going to have to pull something majorly out of the top hat if these two want to try to catch back up with about 5.5 more laps to go. Just don't think it's possible, so you have to settle in and see who can battle it out for the second spot as they make their way to turn 8. Let's see if Jones tries to lead here. He's on the back bumper, doesn't try it late. Josh Hote, though, he's going to send it on Massimino as he's going to try for a major crossover, gets forced wide, and it looks like Josh Hote was not able to get around Massimino, so he's still going to have a back bumper full of McAndrews, and now Aiden Rudolph has made his way up. 8 positions gained inside the top 10, finds himself in P8. Frankie Mossman in 9th has moved up 12 positions in total.
Big drive forward for both of them here. Adam Brickley that time by, still even to John Burke pace-wise, so that gap from first to second is going to stay pretty even. Chase Jones seems like he's pretty content to push with John Burke, open that gap up back to Lucas Szabo and Paulie Massimino. Massimino, a third-place starting spot, 5th in the pre-final. Wouldn't be bad, but it wouldn't be an improvement for his main event starting grid here. He'll still be inside the top 10 for sure, though, as they go through 6 with 4.5 laps to go. Again, this is second on back after that crash, battling in the lead pack between John Burke and Hayden Jones. And again, you hate it for Hayden Jones. Such a good week, and he's had to come forward in every single session. He'll have to do it again in the main event for KA Senior later this afternoon. 4 to go at the line. John Burke leads this pack. Adam Brickley up the road at the line, 2.9 seconds gone. Massimino goes purple as well, 50.053 for Paulie on the Speed Concepts Racing CRG. Down the backstretch, single file, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then Aiden Rudolph there in 6th, 10 spots gained.
Yeah, Chase Jones on the inside of John Burke, takes the spot. He now inherits the second position. Burke now has got his teammate of Szabo right behind him, and not too far back, Massimino is on the back bumper of Szabo. So 4 karts going for the second spot. They got to be careful. They got 3.5 more laps to go as here comes Burke back on the inside of Chase Jones. Jones is going to get ran way wide, almost all the way into the grass, and that is going to allow Szabo along with Massimino to try to challenge it. Massimino trying for a major crossover. He gets around Szabo, and Burke still holds on to the second spot.
That's a second kind of awkward pass for John Burke. The first one being that pass on Hayden Jones that sent him down the order and ended Hayden Jones' day. As they go down to turn number 1, Burke leads the pack again. Massimino, Szabo, Jones, and now Aiden Rudolph is there on the Team GWR AR Academy OTK. There in the 6th position. McAndrews 7th. Down the backstretch, single file for the lead down to turn number 4.
Jones had to defend off of Rudolph, and Rudolph has got right behind him Josh Hote. Again, like Xander said, not the fastest kart on track, but a whole lot of experience and a whole lot of patience so far of letting everyone in front try to get their nose dirty and keep yours clean. As we now look, looks like Burke is leading a train on the inside line. Half the field's going to go down there to defend, and now they're going to go 3 wide. Chase Jones loses spot from, I believe that, if I'm not mistaken,
McAndrews all the way around the outside. Mike McAndrews now will lose a couple back, but that was one heck of a crossover attempt by Mike McAndrews. Here they go up the hill. 2 to go, fighting for second. Adam Brickley way gone, and you can see how big the pack has gotten now. John Burke leads them down to turn number 1, and they go up the hill with Massimino, Jones in tow. 2 laps to go through turn number 3.
So let's see if Massimino, as now Burke goes all the way down to the inside, defends, comes back up to the middle parts of the track. Massimino then follows from behind. Chase Jones gets forced to the outside line. He's going to go door to door with Rudolph up the hill as they're still going to try to get themselves sort of back out. Coming down the hill they go. Looks like Jones was able to hold off in front of Rudolph. And then out in front, let's see what Burke does. He's going to take him down to the inside line. That's going to be Massimino following. A couple of guys trying to back. There goes McAndrews up in the air.
Tried the inside, got up and over the curbing. McAndrews now, really that hurt. I think one driver back there, not Massimino, but one more in the group. I think it hurt Holtz, and Holtz kind of put him off a little bit to pay for it. But down the front stretch here, white flag now. They're spread apart again. Burke is hanging on by a thread. Massimino, Szabo right there into turn one. Here comes Chase Jones with a big run up the hill to 3.
Yeah, Szabo give a little bit of push there to John Burke. Now he's going to try the inside of Massimino. Chase Jones trying for a 2-for-1 crossover. 3 wide there on the exit. He's going to have the inside line coming into the bowl. Chase Jones is going to follow Massimino now. Szabo falls back one more spot, and it's still Burke out in front. Massimino right behind him in third. Chase Jones in fourth. Szabo now in fifth.
So John Burke now knows they've gotten back to him again over to 8. He goes low. Massimino goes low as well. Burke breaks it real early, and they all get taken out. Szabo drives over Chase Jones, knocks him wide. Jones loses spots. More of them lose spots there. And as they come out of turn number 9, it's all about Adam Brickley. He'll score the heat race victory here in the pre-final. Adam Brickley, what a great drive forward. 8 spots gained to win it. Burke will hang on for second. Massimino third. Jones so far up and so frustrating that's got to be for Chase Jones. Crosses the line down in 11th after a great drive forward there. Gets pile drived in the turn 8 hairpin. Szabo falls down to 8th. Holtz to 7th. McAndrews 6th. Aiden Rudolph 5th. Frankie Mossman. How in the world did Frankie Mossman survive that whole last lap? Frankie Mossman picks up 17 positions to 4th in the pre-final. That's a heck of a point swing for Frankie Mossman to get him a better starting spot here in this main. Again, if he would have started the main event where he came into this pre-final, he would have been back in the 40s. So great drive forward for Frankie Mossman, and that's going to take us to one more commercial break. Interviews coming here. We're going to try and chat with our race winner, Adam Brickley, really quickly, and then we will send it off to the lunch break. When we come back from the lunch break, we'll be on the KC Premium member stream, so make sure to get your premium membership, $9.99 a month, to watch the main events live from GoPro Motorplex. We'll be right back with post-race interviews.
I'm Billy Vincent, owner of MPG Motorsports. What we do at MPG is we try to keep it a nice, fun family atmosphere, try to combine sort of the bigger things and of the bigger teams and the professionalism down with sort of some of the fun, sort of family-oriented atmosphere. We try to not only develop drivers, but also the parents and the families for just in knowledge in general in motorsports. It all starts in karting. What we try to do is try to help the drivers, the moms, the dads understand the sport of motorsports in general, not just karting, but what it takes to get all the way up through. Whether you end up wanting to be a driver or a mechanic or an engineer, you know, we can help you with that, and that's what we're here for. If you're interested in joining us at MPG, our home base is at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, and you can contact us at info@willpowerkart.com, and one of our great people will reach out to you, and we'll try to put the best program together.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there. Odenthal Racing Products, your #1 producer in engine mounts since 1992, along with our leading-edge designs and product development, such as the Odenthal Racing Products EasyGP camera mount, which comes in 4 different styles and can be used on any karting platform. See our products online. Go to odenthalracing.com.
Welcome back here to Go for Motorplex. Trying to track down Adam Brickley here to talk with our KA Senior Heat Race winner as he's just working his way through the scale line right now. And we'll see what we can do to get a word with him after that wild one. But looks like, again, everyone just pushing their way on through. And then a short lunch break before opening ceremonies get underway. And then we go green at 2:35 p.m. with micro flips. Main event here live from the IAME USA Grand National Championship. So we'll see if we can get Brickley over to chat with him really quickly. And then, again, that'll end our live feed for the free part. Remember, if you want to watch the main events, that's at youtube.com/kartchaser. And hit the join button. That way you can see the mains here to finish off the IAME USA Grand National Championship presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. So we'll see what we can do to track him down. And unfortunately, it looks like we won't be able to get Brickley here this time. So that'll cut our stream a little bit shorter. Oh, we got him here somewhere. Here we go. Working his way around the garages. So there we go. We'll get Adam Brickley here together and chat with our KA Senior pre-final A winner. Avoids the carnage there. Not sure what he knew of what was going on behind him, but it sure was crazy. His race out front, pretty clean. He's with Kendall.
Here with Adam Brickley. At what point did you realize you can get away and avoid everything going on behind you?
Well, as soon as I got in first, because we knew we were going to be fastest pre-final. We had new tires on, and just to scuff them for the final. And I just had to pass everybody, and I'm like, if I get in front, I could probably pull away, and I think I did.
Once you noticed that you did pull away, were you able to relax at all? Because it was a pretty big gap, or did you just keep going all the way through?
Well, I kind of thought it as practice, just keep doing the track and always, hitting my marks. But in the last 2 laps, just wanted to cool down the tires because we knew we had the gap.
All right, well, sounds good, and good luck in the final today.
Thank you.
Thank you, and back to you guys.
Thank you to Adam Brickley for making his way around to chat with us here. And that will wrap up our live stream for the morning part. We'll be back in about 20 minutes. Main events coming up next here live on youtube.com/kartchaser for the IAME USA Grand National Championship presented by Hunt Brothers Pizza. That concludes the morning pre-finals, all wrapped up and done.